Hey, welcome back to another day, another episode of Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about 62% of hardcore players no longer buy full-price games, surveys suggest. We're going to also talk about Outbound developer apologizes for asking players to remove negative reviews on Steam. I mean, I played the game on Monday. I don't know what you would, I guess you didn't know what you were getting into with your negative review. I don't know. We'll read about it. But asking people to delete their reviews, that's pretty bad. We're going to also talk about GTA 6 pre-order date has been leaked by Best Buy and confirmed that it is true. And then we're also going to talk about man sentenced to 6 years in prison for selling Mario shape meth pills. I'm sorry. Nintendo is even going after the meth people. It's amazing. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We have other stories that we're going to go over as well if we complete the main topics. Then we have talks about Marathon, Forza Horizon 6, Star Wars, Arc Raiders, stuff like that. So appreciate it very much. Like I said, we do this Monday through Thursday. If you guys missed it, last night I was over on Fake Wizard News over on Fake Wizard's channel. I think it's his second or third channel. I joined Tom and Fake Wizard, went over some news stories. If you missed it, go check it out. It's a good time over there as well. His channel just got monetized, so congratulations for his second channel to get monetized, or third channel to get monetized. All right. How's it going, chat? Let me see who's all here. Ward, good morning. Roic, Aku, Travis, Altern, Eclipse, Jesse Mack. Good morning. It's a slow day. Thursday, everyone's like, is it the weekend yet? It's the second day for the weekend for Water Bear. Morning, Wonder Rose. All right, so let's start off with the big topic here, which is 62%. This comes from VGC. 62% of hardcore players no longer buy full-price games, survey suggests. Now, I'm shifted over. Hold on one second. There we go. 62% of hardcore players no longer buy full-price games, survey suggests. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member. It all helps us out over here. So 62% of most engaged video game players no longer buy full-price releases, according to a new survey. So according to Generation in Play Report, developer of IGN Entertainment Associations with Kantar and UC Berkeley, which it says is based on polling thousands of highly committed consumers in the U.S., UK, and Australia. According to the report, 38% of millennials, people ages 30 to 44, and 42% of Gen Z, those aged from 14 to 29, said they still buy full-price games, but only 20% of Gen X, people from 46 to 61, say they would. Oh, look at me. Look at me, right? I'm in the 80% of not doing it, right? Only 20% of Gen Xers said they would. Okay, this is a pretty damn big number and pretty, it says a lot. Even though I don't know how many people they surveyed and stuff, right? According to a report, 38% of millennials, people ages 30 to 44, would buy new games. Okay, that's a big discrepancy, right? That is 62%. Right, 62% of millennials are not buying games. Okay, 58% of Gen Zers are not buying new games, and 80% of Gen Xers are not buying new games. Coming to the report, the game business Christopher Driggs said it reflected a market where consumers have more than ever to play and less demand to rush out to buy new releases that could also be unpolished at launch. I mean, our whole thing on this channel, okay, is stop buying broke and buggy games. It's about make a game, sell a game. It's no pre-orders, no day one, no full price for a half-assed game, right? I beat this drum because I'm just trying to make the gaming industry better. I'm just trying to educate people to be like, you know what? I don't need to buy the brand new game. I can wait a week. I can wait a month. I can wait 6 months. Okay, they have to show you they make a product, right? Just like I do every day, right? I'm pretty, I don't know, different than the rest of the people on YouTube. Everyone has a YouTube channel, right? right? I'm not trying to upload stuff to try to or bait people into stuff. I've said the same thing all the time. I'm true. Okay, I stick by what I believe. Everyone should stick to what they believe. Okay, that's how you have beliefs, right? Integrity, right? And to educate people on, look, there is so many games that if you stopped buying games today, if you started today and didn't buy a brand new game, you have tens of hundreds of thousands of games to play. Okay, every year for the last 5 years, 18,000 games have come out on Steam and in the industry. Okay, the last 10 years, you have over 100,000 games across all platforms. The last 20 years, you have over 200,000 games that you can go play. Your backlog is so long that you would never have to be angry again from a broken, buggy game. Disappointed that they have to keep updating it with a battle pass or a subscription model, right? You could just go play your old games. And this is what the industry doesn't understand, right? The industry doesn't understand this. They think that you have to buy the greatest, latest game. And we would if they weren't broke, if they weren't buggy, if they weren't trying to monetize us to, God's green earth here. Okay, it says the market shifted. It says the VGC consumers are full in terms of things to play, watch, and read. Plus, games have a bit of habit launching unfinished or need to be patched or two. So consider that the two factors, the drive to rush out day one, purchase games isn't there in a way that it used to be. The upside is that the games are living longer and also not unusual for big games to sell for years and decades. What do you mean they're lasting longer? I literally could go play the original Mario. People are literally going back to play original Mario. You can't last longer than the beginning, right? People are still playing the games that came out from the original Nintendo on emulators and stuff, right? There's a generational shift too. It says, I'm cautious of drawing too many conclusions here. A lot of the buying and playing habits of older gamers might be due to the fact that they have less time and more money. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I don't think you're doing any kind of conclusion there, right? You got to remember, okay, the Gen Xers, even though there was people ahead of, right, there's baby boomers that played video games and stuff like that, okay? But the Gen Xers, regardless if I'm 46 or if you're 61 or if you're 70 or whatever it is, okay, everyone started playing games around the same time. These people are like the pioneers of gaming. All the developers that made games back then are now retiring, okay? They're in the 60s, going into 70s and stuff like that, right? Late 50s, early 60s, early 70s, right? They're all in that baby boomers / Gen Xers, and these are the people that grew up, know what games are, knows what they could be, and then sees the way that companies have taken their hobby and completely twisted it and destroyed it. And this is why 80% of Gen Xers are like, now I got time, right? I got the same time as the people that are millennials and Gen Zers, but I have more money and I don't want to spend it, right? So now they're trying to take these games and try to market towards the Gen Zers. Now the Gen Zers, okay, 42% they'll buy it, right? But that's still 58%, okay? That's 58% of the people, more than half, that are like, I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not buying new games. And then you have the millennials, right? Millennials from 30 to 44, you have 62%, okay? Right? 62% of the population of the millennials are like, yeah, I don't need a new game, right? Maybe they're watching TikTok. Maybe they're doing Netflix. Maybe they're reading a book. Maybe they're hanging out with their friends. Whatever it is, they don't need to buy full-price games. It says, there's a generational shift, although I'm cautious of drawing the conclusion, I already said that part, where opposite is true. We'll see how it plays out over time. According to Carl Stewart, SVP, IGNE Global Marketing Generation, his Play Report is focused on highly qualified entertainment. It says on the casuals. We're talking about people who basically say, I only have so many hours in a week. This is still where I choose to spend my disposable time. And to be told, brands didn't play the podcast. All of us have the exact same 24 hours in the day. All of us, right? My kid right now, instead of working a job, is at school for 8 hours, right? Other people are at work for 8 hours. Other people's are doing whatever in 8 hours. Then they have to spend time with the family and pay the bills and go eat and go work out and do all these things, right? So when people choose, right, because that's what we have, a choice. Let's say you only have 2 hours time slot a day to play video games or free time, let's say, and you choose to take an hour of that to play a video game or to work out or to do dishes or whatever it is, you're choosing to scroll through TikTok, right? That's what they do. The report indicates further diverging habits between the three generations of consumers, including Gen Z consumes prioritize Google search for discovering new games, while 85% of millennials favor YouTube and Gen Z priorities social media. Okay, Gen Xers said that they favor single-player games. Generation Z prefers multiplayer titles to almost the same degree, and millennials are almost slightly split. Okay. Gen X and millennials are more likely to return to games in order to complete or master them, where Gen Z are more motivated to new customizations and community content, right? So they don't finish games. So when you see the 17% of people finish the tutorial, they're probably Gen Xers and maybe millennials, okay? Where the Gen Zers are like, they try it, they're like, I'm bored. What's that? Squirrel. Right? Consumption of game guides varies from generation. The Gen Xers indexing higher on tip videos, millennials on the map tools, and Generation Z on build guides. Gen Xers are highly skeptical of AI and more trusting of brand recognition, being 38% less likely to use AI for discovery and 44% less likely to believe that AI summaries are as good as human ones. I mean, I use AI and, I like it. But I don't use it for to take over the things. I use it because I know how to operate it, and I've been using it for like 2.5 years, right? Further committing to the findings, Stewart said that the Gen Xers come from a point of view of midnight openings, full-price game, console base, and they want to get everything they could possibly get as much juice out of the lemon as possible. That's right. We don't want to play full price. In what world are people like, man, I can't wait for that thing to come out to get full price? No, majority of people are like, yeah, I'll wait till that goes on sale. And not only wait until I wait to go on sale, I'll wait to get it secondhand when it goes on sale. So that way I can get even a better deal. Okay, it says where you look at Gen Z, who live in a world of platforms. Games don't end, but social and community become a massive part of their DNA. So they want to be a part of the community where they're able to say, I'm the most informed and I know most about the game. Well, that's interesting considering most of them don't even use a headset. Right? Most of the people that are using headsets are older people, and they're just trying to find other older people to talk to because they can't stand, right? I'm speaking from experience, right? Can't stand the squeaky voices. That's why we call them squeakers. Okay. So yeah, what do you think? Right? I think this is pretty interesting because I wish they did the opposite. Instead of putting you 38% of the people that would buy games, show you the stock that don't buy games, right? 38%. Again, of millennials are buying new games. 42% of Gen Xers would buy new games, and only 20% of Gen Xers. Now you know where I come from, huh? Gen X. This is why I'm like, don't buy new games. Let the companies sweat it out. Okay, we were just talking about last night, right? Wizard asked me, are you going to get Batman, the Lego Batman game? And I said, I'm not interested. I got to wait to see what happens. Well, probably, I've owned every Lego game, and I'll wait. I'll wait to see what the reviews are. I'll wait to see what everything else is. And then I'll pick it up down the road, right? Not to say I don't like the game. I just don't need it. I just don't need a game. If I'm going to buy a new game, I'm going to buy a new game that's cheaper, right? Like I bought Retro Rewind off of Steam, right? It's $20. $20. Right? I've already played that game, I don't know, 9 hours, 10 hours? I'll get 20 hours out of it. And in my opinion, it's $1 an hour, whatever time frame. That's me. Not everyone does that. Okay. But I will buy a $20 game again and again. I will buy 5 $20 games before I buy one full price AAA game that I have to wait 6, 12, or 18 months to get it fixed. Right. And I think a lot more people are becoming like that because they're starting to see, because the younger you are, you don't understand the concept of how far a dollar could go. And especially in this day and age. Right? So you think, I have money, I'm going to spend it. I have money, I'm going to spend it because you don't have responsibilities. But then as you get older, you're like, I'm going to buy a car. Oh, I got a car payment to pay. I can't buy this thing. Oh, I have to eat because I don't live at home anymore. My mom and dad are not cooking for me. I got to spend some money over here. Money at the place, I got to spend $20 to eat at McDonald's. That means I can't buy one game. And yet they go out and buy full price games. People don't go to the dentist. People don't go to the doctor, but they'll spend $70 on one game. But they'll bitch about a $50 copay, right? When you just start getting responsibilities, people start to think of the dollar a little differently. So when you're younger, yeah, you're just like, oh, I have money, right? My son does that right now. He gets money, birthday money, he gets this money, right? And the only way he's going to learn, he's like, hey, Dad, can I get this? He checks with me. Can I buy this from Minecraft? Can I buy this from this? I'm like, do you need it? Do you want it? Well, I want it. Okay. I was like, go ahead, buy it, right? And then his bank account gets a little lower, and then he has no money left. And then he's like, Dad, can I get this game? I'm like, well, how much money do you have left? Well, I can't afford it. Well, and I guess you have to wait for your birthday, or you have to wait for Christmas now, right? Only then do they realize, oh, well, I spent $6 here, I spent $8 there, I spent $15 here, I spent, and they start to learn that what their actual, how far their money goes, how long they played that game for, and then they start to realize, well, you know what? I'll wait for that to go on sale. It's amazing, right? Why pay full price for stuff when everything will go on sale? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Where do you fall? Are you in the 38% of millennials? Are you in the 42% of Gen Zs? Are you in the 20% of Gen Xers? Or are you in the, every single one of these, the majority of people not buying the games? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. Let's see. Altered says only 62%. I was expecting 70. Altered says I probably survey like 10 people and say that it's like 1 million. Hey, I'm in those 70%. Let's go, millennials. Travis says backlog. Nah, you mean future content dispenser. Travis says, I found the 25th hour. It's called the dark hour. It lets you JRPG. Yeah, is that squirrel or is that chipmunk? It is a chipmunk. That's a chipmunk. I wish I waited on Starfield, and I say that in person and join the game. Yeah, but you didn't even pay full price. You didn't even pay full price, but you still had to wait 2 years to get it. Right? My cousin is my doctor, and I get free work, but last time I saw a bill, I thought I've had a heart attack, and then they charged you. Dentist, not doctor. Eclipse says, yeah, I remember I was so excited. I got Final Fantasy VIII Black Label for $20 because they put it in then with the greatest hits, which is a green label back in the day. Oh, you got the $69.99? Well, see? Don't worry. There'll be a time that you get burned by a game. Maybe this is it. And you'll be like, you know what? I'm never going to do that again. Alter says, I'm still waiting on Starfield. I need it to be $20 to play on the Genesis mod. Jesse Mack says, all the players hates full half-ass prices. I don't like polls that much anymore. All the players hates full half-ass prices. Yeah. Well, the majority, if you look at it, the majority, it's the minority of each generation that's destroying the game industry. It's the minority that are paying full price for half-ass games. Right? It's the 20% of Gen Xers that bought Battlefield 6 that still believe Battlefield is the same. It's 42% of the Gen Zers that bought Battlefield 6 because they thought it was still the same Battlefield back in the day, and it's 38% of the millennials that bought it. Travis says, I mean, if Star Wars Outlaws didn't teach me it, I might be incapable of learning. You should change learning to leering. Incapable of leering. What's going on, worlds? He says, I don't buy a lot of games, probably one game every few months. So I pay full price most of the time. I only buy games I know I'll enjoy, though. Very picky. But even in the games that you enjoy, world, I have a question for you. Was the last game that you bought broken, buggy at launch, and you have to wait for fixes? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully you bought a game that you really liked, and it wasn't broken, buggy. But imagine you only bought that one game, like a Battlefield, like a Fallout, like a Cyberpunk when it first came out, and it was buggy for you, right? Altern says, but hey, Soros is flying off the shelves, right? I'm surprised they actually spoke of how many sales they did. Usually when they bring up sales of like only 300,000, it's to push like people like it. Hey, look, you can help us get past a certain point, because there are people like that. Argus says there are a lot of people in the world not capable of leering. That's right. Kyle says, I bought Forza Horizon 6 at full price. Just depends on the game. I say I buy full price game 1 or 2 times a year. And I get that, Kylo. Right? I get that. If you only buy 1, 2 full price games a year and they're not broken buggy, it's like, thank you so much. Right? No, Resident Evil Requiem and Hades 2 on PlayStation 5. Well, there you go. Right? Well, Hades 2 is not a full price game. Right? It wasn't a full price game. And then Resident Evil was. Yeah, I saw the we have Forza news if we can get to it. Argus says there's a big central spawn location for non-leerers. Which is backed up by science and statistics, by the way. That's right. Facts. Those are called facts. All right, let's move on. This one we played this game the other day. And I was like, I like it. It's a very cozy game, right? It's a very cozy game. Outbound. Okay. I liked it. It's like not really a survival game. It's more of an exploration game with survival mechanics as far as eating and fueling up your vehicle as you build up your vehicle and explore the map and unlock stuff, right? Didn't think it was a terrible game. Didn't think it was an amazing game either. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5, right? Outbound developer apologizes for asking players to remove negative reviews from Steam. That's a no-no, right? No matter what you want, right? Every day, someone puts a thumbs down. I don't care. I bring it up as a point of the person that does that doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. Do what you want, right? As long as they're engaging, that's fine, right? Outbound developer apologizes for asking players to remove negative reviews. That is almost, it's like suicidal for your video game to do that, right? You're asking people to remove the thing that they think your game is, right? So players have started posting more negative reviews as a result of the request, right? You're Barbra Streisanding the effect here because you're asking someone to do something and you're like, bro, do not do that. The indie studio behind recently released Outbound has apologized for asking players to remove their negative review. Outbound is a cozy exploration game developed by Squared Glades Games, where players drive an empty camper van around an open world to attempt to turn it into a home by collecting materials, decorate it, using technology to power it up. Okay, the game was released on May 11th on PC and Xbox, including Game Pass. That's where I played it. And it's coming to PlayStation 5, the Switch, and Switch 2 on May 14th, but it's also the Steam version that been gathering some controversy. As initially screenshotted, there was shared a Steam Reddit page spotted by Kotaku. One player wrote a negative review of the game, calling its mechanics incredibly shallow and saying it's definitely not worth the asking price. Okay, now see, I played it on Game Pass. I don't even know what the game cost. Excuse me, right? So the studio said I understood the game wasn't to the player's liking and offered no hard feelings, but added, feel free to send support requests for the Steam support to get a full refund on your purchase. If you do so, would you appreciate you if you would update and remove your negative review? Thanks a lot. Now, it's a good context there. Okay? It's good context. They're like, hey, you know what? This person didn't like the game, so we're going to give them a full refund. And in return, take your review down because you got your money back, you don't have to keep a review up. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. He still played your game, right? He still played your game and is giving you feedback on why he doesn't like your game. Regardless if the money comes back or not, I'm still going to give you my thoughts and opinions on your game. Now, I'm not the person that wrote the review because I don't write reviews, right? I just play the game, give you my thoughts as I play it. You guys ask questions, and I tell you if I like it or not. That's not really a review, just my personal opinion, okay? This has not gone down very well with some players who have suggested that developers shouldn't be trying to give their game a higher percentage of positive reviews by asking players to change or remove negative ones. That's correct. You shouldn't have done that. Okay? People's opinions are opinions. Let them do what they have to do. Regardless if they get their money back, they can still put a review. Hell, there's people that can give reviews on certain sites that haven't even played your game by just looking at it. Okay? It's also seamlessly had a Streisand effect in some extent. While the game's Steam reviews are still marked as mostly positive, a number of recent negative reviews have made reference into suggesting it was at least partially responsible for their own rating. Now posted in repost to these reviews, Square Glade Games has apologized for its comments, saying it will no longer ask people to remove or change their reviews. Hopefully they don't do anything else, like trying to ask Steam to remove them. All right. First and foremost, we truly apologize for how we recent replies at some have come across, it said. We understand that our communication was felt wrong to many of you, and for that, we're generally sorry. Quote, to be completely honest, in 24 hours since the launch, we've been incredibly overwhelmed. While we started with a lot of excitement, and reality as the launch brings us a lot of pressure and intense emotions. Looking back with that, we realized that the way to communicate was not the right approach, and we didn't handle the situation and care it deserved. Like, I totally get it, right? You want everyone to love you. You want everybody to just love what you put out. I put a show out every single day, Monday through Thursday, okay? People come in, they don't like it, they say stuff, they'll message me, they'll leave a comment, whatever it is. All that gets to stay up there because that is their opinion on stuff. And everyone has the right to say what they want. If they like it, if they don't like it, right? And you're pressured because you're like, oh, just make a game. Make the game. Sell the game. If this is the game you wanted to make, okay, if this is the game you wanted to make, and then just put it out there, and if people that like it, you have mostly positive reviews. But now because you try to mess with it, right? Now that you tried to mess with it, now you've tainted the water. Okay. It said, he added, quote, we also want to be clear. We no longer be asking anyone to change their negative reviews, and we have also deleted our previous comment. We respect your honesty and appreciate your feedback, even if it's in a tough to hear. It helps us make the game better. Now, I don't know if these guys are young, if this developers are young, if they're old, if they're Gen Xers, Gen Zers, millennials, whatever it is. It sounds like they're younger. It does sound like they're younger, and they've never been told no before, or they've never been disagreed with before because everything was kind of just brought to them. Now, I'm being very generalistic. I don't know if that's what it is, but to initially say, hey, can you remove that? We don't like to see that negative review. Honest, but negative review. Okay. Now they're like, yeah, we respect your honesty and appreciate your feedback. And they're like dealing with it as it is. Like they've just never been told no before. It says, thank you for your patience while we navigate this. We're heading back to work on the issues that you've raised, but we wanted to make sure that you stop to say, we hear you and we're sorry for the missteps of our communication. Please don't hesitate to shout out if you have anything we can support with. Now, we watched a video last week, a small little portion of the people that were making, what was that? War Dogs, right? And the CEO of that company was like, as the developer, as the creator of the game, it's your job, right? Not your job, the consumer. Like the creator of the actual game, it's your job to filter through what people are saying. So when people give you a bad review, now I don't even know what if this review, do they have the review, what was said? Shared on the Steam page Reddit. Let's see if it is. Okay, so here, I'm assuming this is what it is, okay? It says not recommended, right? He played 0.9 hours last 2 weeks. Okay, it's certainly cozy, and the art style is very cute. I was quite amused by the blank reference in the lookout tower. However, the game mechanics are incredibly shallow with very little variety. Even exploring the world felt meh. Definitely not worth the asking price. Not even with the 10% off with the launch discount. Now that's his opinion. Okay, that's his opinion. That's not even a bad review, right? Now, obviously, as a person that's like, hey, I'm interested in this game, this guy, he put, almost an hour in. Right? You could take that with whatever you want. That's not a bad review, man. For them to come out and be like that seems a little weird. You have to look at it. Now, he didn't curse. He didn't say anything. He just said incredibly shallow with very little variety. That's crazy, right? Instead of going, as a developer, now let's break this down. This person left a review, if this was my game, and go, the game mechanics are incredibly shallow. Well, why does he think they're shallow? Very little variety. Oh, variety. Okay, well, what else can we do? All right, well, you could pick up the sticks and the rocks, and you can fix the bridges, and you can do the same thing over and over. There's not much there. Maybe we should add something, right? All right, point taken. Appreciate your feedback. Maybe down the road they work on it. If only one person says something about this, then it's something really that you don't have to fix. But if there's 5, 10, 15, 50, 100, 5,000 people that are like, hey, variety's a little, could be a little bit better, then you should change it, right? You don't have to take everything from every single person and go, oh, we have to add that. We got to put that in the game, right? That's not filtering through the stuff, right? So again, it's the developer's job to make a game, sell a game, and it's the developer's job, if they care, to listen to the feedback that they get and make changes if they want to. If not, just leave it as is. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think? Do you think the developer was wrong in this situation? Do you think it's okay for developers to, ask you to change your review after you get your money back? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. What's going on, Roadkill? What's going on, Crowd? All right, let me see here. Waterbear says, in the real world, not everything is rainbows and sunshine. What are they thinking? Crowd says, imagine if a food critic removed his negative review at the restaurant because they comped his meal. Right. It's just, it really does feel like these people either first time making a video game or very young. You know what I mean? Maybe both. Maybe I'm completely wrong there. I don't know anything about the company. I don't know anything about the people that are at the company. But just coming across asking someone to change their review seems a little... Not even change it. It was, can you take it down after we gave your money back? Right? He's allowed to leave an opinion after he played the game. You're allowed to leave an opinion without playing the game on certain sites. Now they're going to get review bombed. Probably. Argus says, I'm not sure I want anyone older than a millennial working on the games themselves. They can run to the company and handle the finances, but let the old millennials handle making the game. Travis says, RV shouldn't have been a transformer. That would be 10 out of 10. Maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll change that thing into a robot. Well, it's almost like a transformer because you like build a house and stuff on top of the van. For the patterns, they will reveal what needs to be fixed. Right, look for patterns. Yeah. Jesse Mack says, WTF, how the fuck are the devs said that review just reviewed? If you don't like it, I'm sorry, you don't belong in the industry then, so bad. If they're just the world of gaming and move to another job. Yeah, this review, this right here, I don't understand. Like, here's what they said. Sorry to hear that. It's not your cup of tea. But that, of course, is totally understandable. No hard feelings. Smiley face. That just comes across a little, right? Feel free to send support requests to Steam support for a full refund of your purchase. If you do so, we would appreciate if you would update or remove your negative review. But how would that fix it? Think about the person that wrote this. I don't know if it was the community manager. I don't know if it was the high up in the actual company, right? How would that fix saying it's incredibly shallow with very little variety, right? That's the big words there. Incredible shallow with very little variety. Great. I got feedback now, right? They said, hey, here's your money back for your game. Sorry you felt that way. Now, can you go back and update your review? Okay, great. So now you gave me my money back. And now I'm supposed to go, oh, well, the game is really not shallow. And it has so much variety. What are you talking about? The game is still what I said it is. I just got my money back, which he's allowed because he played less than 2 hours. Or remove the negative review. I know this doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but this is a very big deal, and this is why they're getting feedback. And this is exactly why Steam is so important. Okay? This is exactly why Steam is very important, because no other company, right? Xbox and PlayStation have been known in the past to remove negative reviews and only put the ones up at the top, and you have to scroll all the way to the bottom to try to find reviews. Steam puts them right there. You like it, you don't like it, it's there. It's your choice as a consumer to go over there and look and read the reviews if you want to read the reviews. Now, maybe you're like, hey, I'm interested in this game. You go to Steam and you read this and go, Oh, all right. Well, it seems incredibly shallow. Doesn't look incredibly shallow. You go watch some gameplay on YouTube. You go watch some a Let's Play, right? A live stream on Twitch. You make your own choice. This is baffling to me that they would actually try to silence not even a bad review. Not even a bad review. Roic says you're going to put something out there for the public. You better have thick skin because you can't please 100% of the people. Yeah. Do you know, it takes, anytime you, exactly what you said, Roic, anytime you put something in the public, right? To be a YouTuber, you have to have thick skin. You can't let things like bother you, right? You have to learn. And the only way you're going to do it is by doing it, right? The only way you're going to learn to be the next game that they make or whatever is doing exactly, they fucked up. They admitted they fucked up, right? But now, because they did that is the problem, right? You gotta, before you just type and then send, you gotta think. There's sometimes, man, someone says something on Twitter or YouTube, and I'm like, right, I'm typing up stuff. I look at it. I just don't hit send. I'm like, remember that? Remember what I talked about a couple weeks ago when you go to like Best Buy or Target, you pick up a device, something that's like, you know, a big purchase. You're like, I don't really know if I need this. You start walking around, and maybe by the time you walk around, look at other stuff, you start talking to yourself, and you're like, you know what? I don't need this, and you put it back on the shelf. That's what people should do with posts, okay? When you reply to somebody, or when you just stop for a moment, think about it, see what you actually wrote, and then hit send, or delete it. That would solve so many issues, because back in the day, in person, you wouldn't say something like that to somebody. You wouldn't. But because we're behind, you know, we're anonymous and stuff, people just type away, say what they want, and they think they can get away with it or whatever, right? Well, that's not how that works. Less than 2 hours until you hit 309, you can't say a game is bad. Argus says the public can be very finical. Argus says, which is why into politics we also leave the world to the leftist, and also we have no thin or thick skin. If you will be going to jail for having the most minor different opinions, like what happens in Canada and the UK. Let's see. Crowd says the candy bar when you're waiting in line at the supermarket. You don't need it. That's a great little example, right? You're walking down, you have to go to that gauntlet of before you get to the register to pay. They have all the little knick-knack and candy shit, and you pick it up and you're like, do I need this? I don't need this, right? You just need that moment to be like, I'm going to put that back. Eclipse says the biggest sign that you're maturing, you can look at a post you're about to post and say, nah, I'm good. That's actually a great point. Great point. Sent me a video. What is this? Could finally give Bond his Arkham Asylum moment. Is it a funny video? Is it a real video? Like what's happening here? Are they're comparing it to Batman? Is this this can't be comparing the stealth to Batman, is it? I think it's a real video. All right, well, if we have time, we'll maybe take a look at it. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about, I got to find the post on Twitter. There was one post, I guess it was about an hour ago, that came out and said it was confirmed about the Grand Theft Auto. They reached out and said it was confirmed. It is real. It's an actual post. Leaked Grand Theft Auto pre-order next week. Best Buy leaked a pre-order date for Grand Theft Auto 6 on May 18th. Affiliate emails auto-fired by accident, sending out the guard of information early. All right, so if you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right, so GTA 6 pre-order date has been leaked via Best Buy. GTA 6 pre-order supposedly is set to go live next week, starting on May 18th, as Best Buy email has leaked when you can place your pre-order. Plenty of people have been sent the email online, but Insider Gaming has since received the email, and we can independently verify that it's real. Sent out to the affiliates, and email reveals the campaign is for none other than the highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6, with the pre-orders set to begin on May 18th, 5 months before the game's November 19th release date. If pre-orders were to go live, it could be the very well rule out fears another delay. Okay, well, that doesn't mean anything. Pre-orders can go out and they can still delay it. So GTA 6 pre-order campaign verification, Insider Gaming has been able to verify that the email received by affiliates is legitimate. By having 2 individual affiliates forward directly the emails originated from the Impact, one of the leading affiliate partner marketplaces. If you have the Impact account, you can sign up and have the affiliate offers from Best Buy. It's possible that you also have received an email from notificationapp.impact.com. So there you go. GTA 6 pre-order now confirmed May 18th. Multiple people on the internet are claiming that they received affiliate email from Best Buy regarding GTA 6 pre-order campaign. All right, so I don't think this is fake. It's been confirmed by multiple sources now. So Trailer 3 could be around the corner. The pre-order news. So if it's the 18th, today's the 14th. 18th is a Monday. Do they pre-order on 8? It's kind of weird. I mean, it's a pre-order, so it doesn't really matter when it goes live. Maybe they go to the 19th and show the trailer, or maybe they do the trailer and then it pre-orders right after that. Yeah, no price. No price yet. They just said you can pre-order. It's just a reminder. Hey, pre-order. Right, so the pre-order news has once again got fans online speculating that the highly rumored Trailer 3 could be right around the corner, with many speculating that the trailer will close with the official pre-order announcement, which could be today or tomorrow, let's be honest. Right? The anticipation surrounding GTA 6 has only continued to grow in recent months. It has now been over a year since Rockstar last showed substantial footage of the game, while Trailer 2 has already surpassed 160 million views on YouTube alone. With the excitement at all-time high, fans desperate for fresh details rumored a May 18th pre-order date has many believed the Rockstar could finally be preparing to pull back the curtain once again. So, well, this will be interesting, because if it goes live, this will, in my opinion, be the biggest, highest pre-order ever, which right now is Cyberpunk, which is 8 million pre-orders were done before the game came out. Now, obviously, I'm not saying they'll get 8 million day one. They could, but they have 5 months to get pre-orders in to beat the 8 million. And I think that is no doubt going to happen. It's going to surpass the 8 million, right? 8 million pre-orders. In my opinion, it's going to be double digits, 10, 12 million people pre-ordering. But we'll see. There'll be plenty of reports saying it. I'll be honest, the more and more we get closer to Grand Theft Auto, the less I'm interested in the game. I don't know what this is. I don't know what's happening personally. Right? Maybe it's because what I said last week. Like, even if I buy it day one, I'm not going to stream it because nobody's going to watch because they want to play the game themselves. Do you know what I mean? So it's very interesting. Like, the closer we get, the less interest I get in it. And I don't need to buy it day one, as we talk about. I don't need to pre-order. I'm not going to pre-order. There's no reason for me to pre-order. I don't care about any pre-order bonus they give us. I don't care if I get an extra car, new clothes, an apartment, whatever the fuck they're going to give you. I don't care. Do I buy it day one? Maybe. But there's no pre-orders. I have to see what this game comes out. I want to see reviews. I want to see if it's working properly. I'm not caught up in it. I have to have GTA 6. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Are you going to pre-order this next week? If it's been verified and it comes out next week in the pre-orders, are you going to get your pre-order in? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe if you like what I do. Check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. All right. Waterbear says 99.99. 99999. Eclipse says, dude, if the game is $100, I'm not getting it for at least 6 years. Crowd says, I'm more interested in how many people are willing to spend $900 for a PlayStation 5 Pro for this game. I am as well, Crowded. I said 2 million. Between I said 2 and 5 million. I give them 5, right? But that to me is still a high number. I would say like between 2 and 3 million people that don't own a PlayStation 5, that are on a PlayStation 4 right now, that are super uber fans that they need it. Ray says, why are people so eager about the Psycho Simulator? It's like a culture thing. Do you know what I mean, Ray? It's like a culture thing of like when like new Jordans come out or something, people have to get the Jordans and then flaunt them off that they got it, right? They have to be a part of that water cooler talk. But the problem is like that whole water cooler thing is like gone. It's ruined by Twitter. It's ruined by the internet because people just ruin everything for people instantaneously. Like you can't like something. There's stuff that's already ruined before the thing even comes out. Waterbear says, what if they announce PC day and date with pre-orders 30? I mean, they could do that. Are you saying, am I going to be interested? No, I'm still not interested. Even when they show me that gameplay and stuff, I'll be like, all right, maybe I'll pick it up week 1. But I still gotta hear if it's running well, if it's doing, you know what I mean? I'm sure it'll be fine, right? For what Grand Theft Auto is. But I don't need this to pre-order. I don't need it day 1. Travis says, if it's $100, it can fuck right off. Well, you're not getting it anyway. You're not interested in it. Mr. D says, hot take, GTA 5 got through about 20 minutes. Nope, not playing. I have plenty of games I actually enjoy. Crowded says, so you think the PlayStation 4 people will spring $1,000 for Pro with the disc drive instead of getting a base PlayStation 5? I don't know if they're going to... I don't know if they'll get a PlayStation 5 Pro. They might go with just a regular PlayStation 5 and get digital download. I have no idea. Like, you're just assuming that everyone on a PlayStation 4 wants a physical copy of the PlayStation 5. Maybe this is the game that breaks them. Maybe they just get the cheapest PlayStation. Maybe they get a used PlayStation. Maybe they get a second-hand PlayStation that someone's trying to get rid of. And they get Grand Theft Auto. Ray says, what if they sell you a pre-COVID experience? Mr. J says, I had friends who would only play GTA 3 with a tank and grenade launcher codes. Lame. Water says, I'm pre-ordering it. I would be very surprised if they do day and date. I mean, we said they would. But now because PlayStation has the rights, I don't think they do it. Which is very interesting because if Rockstar doesn't put it on PC day and date, what are you going to put 8 months, 10 months afterwards? 1 year afterwards? It's a lot of people that are not going to buy your game right away. Maybe they put the feelers out. Maybe that's what this is for. See how many people are going to pre-order and where they're pre-ordering. And if they're low, then they'll announce the PC maybe at Summer Game Fest or something. Jesse Bax says, this is another GTA 6 hopium of Grand Theft Auto players crackling just like the myth to them. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about Grand Theft Auto. That there was a leak. There was a leak of, well, it was this. Of GTA 6 pre-order date has been leaked and verified from Best Buy. So next week, supposedly, Grand Theft Auto 6 gets pre-order. To be honest, this one of the games I don't mind paying $100 for. Why? Because I know its value. It's also a game that also gets no less than 2,000 to 3,000 hours easy. The problem I have with if this is a $100 video game, order, not that it matters because there's going to be way more people that pay $100 that, well, actually, there'll be less people paying $100, but there'll be plenty of people that would pay $100, and that's going to set a standard. And when you open up that Pandora's box that you're going to pay $100 for a standard game, EA, Activision, Microsoft, all of these companies start to look at it and go, well, now we can do it. This is what they're waiting for. Okay? They're waiting for the $100 video game. They're waiting, right? Nintendo dipped their toe in it with the $80 Mario Kart. They're waiting for Rockstar to do $100. And if the $100 is the standard, then the people that buy the $100 version for the standard now, not the deluxe and everything else, they've completely ruined the gaming industry instantaneously because this game is so big. Eclipse says this game will break a lot of people that just want physical. And when it uses AI generated or guarantee, you have a lot of people are also going to say anything about it. We said this last night on Fake Wizard, right? On Fake Wizard News, we were talking about it. I asked them if they have AI in the game, would they be upset? Both Tom and Fake Wizard were talking about it and saying that this is going to, well, Fake Wizard said, this is going to be the game that everyone's okay with, right? Like Crimson Desert and Apex and another game, I forget what it was, they got shit on, Expedition 33, right? For using like AI and people were like totally upset. This is, if there was AI exposed in this game, people would just be like, it's all right. It'll just condition them. So not only are you going to pay $100, but now you're paying $100. Again, we don't know if it's $100. Okay. Not only are you paying $100, but you're also paying, and there's AI in it, and people will be okay with it, right? Saint says, are they skipping last gen? As of right now, yes, it's only on the new gen. Crowd says the newer GTA games have so many cutscenes. I just lose interest after a few hours. I'm not getting either, to be honest. Waterbear says it's not going to set the standard like people think. How many GTAs come out? Those games aren't GTA. This is the price, though. You're talking about the industry price going up to 100 and Madden being 100 now and FIFA being 100 now and Call of Duty being 100 now. And if it's not 100, it's 90. Travis says you can almost hear them salivating at the idea of being a standard can now be $100. Ray says I will not pay $100 for EA Ubisoft game. I won't buy my favorite franchise at $100. Roadkill says game sales are down already. The raise to $200 will also be really down because I ain't dropping no bill on half-finished games. I'm with you, Mike. Look, I appreciate like that you're like saying like you agree with me, but at the same time, people are going to buy a $100 video game. They're going to buy a $1,000 PC or a console. They are. The problem is there enough, right? Is there enough people that buy the $1,000 or the $100 video game to justify them to go, oh yeah, this is where people are going, right? They're literally pricing themselves out. We had this conversation last night about Nintendo raising it just $50. $50 for Nintendo. All Nintendo had to do, right? And they're profitable. 51% profitable. Okay, from year over year. 51% more than they were the year before. And they're like, we're not selling enough. They sold 19 million Switches or Switch 2s, and they're like, we're not profitable. That's insane, right? They're trying to tell you that, we just can't make it, right? These companies, all they had to do was nothing. Nintendo didn't have to raise their price $50, and they would have sold more. But they don't want to sell more. They want to sell higher prices to less. Movie theaters want to do that. Gaming companies want to do that. McDonald's wants to do that. They don't care. They want to have less people for more money. Waterbear says, I believe it will cost $80 max, to be honest, for the standard. To me, games aren't worth $70. So 80 is pushing it. 100, fuck you. Waterbear says they also need to skip last gen completely. If not, they will bottleneck them performance-wise. Come on, sinners. Jesse Max says, sorry, not Myth, autocorrected. I meant to say GTA's Meth to them. I want it. SpongeBob SquarePants. Ray says, I'm 100% sure it will also be a disc key with no data. Clip says, I'm really surprised Mario Kart is the only game that has been $80. That shocks me. It's true. For now. I think they kind of jumped gun because technically, Grand Theft Auto was supposed to be out by now, and they would have been the first $100 video game or $80 video game. Waterbear says, one game I pay $100 for, that's GTA. That's it. But by buying the $100 video game, if it is $100, Water, by buying a $100 Grand Theft Auto, I'm telling you, it's going to open Pandora's box. It's just this one game. And then all the other games will follow suit. Well, they're raising the price in September, Travis. So you have all the time. You have up until September before they raise the price. And games are coming, they said. They don't have them now, but games are coming. Crowd says there's very few games I would pay full price for nowadays. Mr. Z says grocery business is all based on less orders by higher overall per person spent. They hate the small express orders. People are coming in every day for every few days. I mean, even Disney's doing that. Z, right? Disney. There's a great video I watched the other day about Disney, and they talked about, everyone says, oh, the prices are going up because of inflation. But they did the inflation. The ticket price when the park first opened was $3 and something cents. It was like $3.70, right, when it first opened. And they said if it was inflated, it wouldn't be $200. That's not how that works, right? They said it would only be about, I think it was like $33 or something like that for the thing. But Disney decided, well, how do we get more people? So they fake the times for the lines, so people pay the fast passes, right? So they get less people to go into the park, but those people pay more per person, right? So the average person is spending now at Disney, if they got the fast pass plus their park pass, the average person's paying $400, like $370 to $400, right? That's insane, right? Not because of inflation, because of greed. Water Bear says, if people would pay $100 for a goddamn controller or $200 for a scuff controller, you don't think they'll pay $100 for GTA? Here's what I'll say, Water. Go ahead. Go ahead. Buy the stuff. Buy the stuff at $100. But I don't want you to hear. I don't want to hear you complain. When the next game comes out, it's also $100. When the next 2K game comes out for wrestling is $100. Or the next NBA game comes out and it's $200 or $100. Or the Madden that comes out is $100. Now, I know what you're saying. You're like, this is the game I like. I'm going to pay $100, but I won't pay $100 for the other ones. Doesn't matter. Because people pay for this, it will open up the door for everyone else to try $100, and they will get people to pay $100. And if there's 10 people that pay $100, then there'll be 15 people that pay $100. And if there's 15 people that pay $100, there'll be 100 people that pay $100, right? And it doesn't matter. They'll take it. Look at what Xbox did. Raised Game Pass from 20 to 30. They know the percentage of people that paid the 30, even though they went back to 23. They know. Now they know over the next couple of years, they know a percentage of people that stayed with the $30 plan. They know how much room they have to grow and what percentage of people they would lose or not lose. They just put a game on Game Pass called Black Jacket. If you like Blackjack, it's so damn good. I'll take a look. Water says I pay based on value of it. From it, it's also with the games. That's also with everything. They haven't bought a game since Crimson Desert, almost 200 hours, and definitely worth the money for me. Ray says Disney World's expensive because Disney Movies division is broke. Sarge says you guys still didn't get it. We control the price. Stop paying the price. That's right. If you don't want to pay $100, don't buy it. Don't worry, I won't fold. No $100 for me, not even $80. It's a domino effect. I get that, but that means they would have to make those games worth it. No, they don't. What? No, they don't. They don't even make games that are complete now, and people are paying the $60, now $70. Ray says, nah, nobody pays $30. People stack $20 Game Pass before it increased. That's what I did. But they know how many people, regardless of the $20 or not, Ray, they know how many people stayed and paid the $30 a month. What makes Madden every year worth $70 now? Hell, it wasn't even worth the $60 when it came out. It's a fucking roster update. Ray says we can always play free-to-play game, gotcha games, AI, cheap Chinese devs, quality cheap games. Travis says Madden should be free to play at this rate. Yeah, because they make so much money off the goddamn Ultimate cards. Speaking of meth, speaking of people that are addicted to shit, man sentenced to 6 years in prison for selling Mario-shaped meth pills. Bro. What? I don't even know what the story is because we don't read the stories ahead of time, but I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued in how the man is sentenced to 6 years from Nintendo. They have you can't even do the how accurate was it? That's what the cookie looked like, or the meth pill looked like. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. So man sentenced to 6 years in prison for selling Mario-shaped meth pills. That's not what the M on this hat is supposed to stand for. It says a man in New Haven, Connecticut, has been sentenced to 6 years in jail for distributing drugs and possessing firearms and ammo, thus violating the condition of his supervised release after a prior federal conviction. Why are we writing about this on Kotaku? Well, a video game and pop culture website, because the drugs are shaped like Mario's head for some reason. Why am I talking about this? Because it's gaming news. Okay, 33-year-old Ronald Rogers was arrested during a traffic stop in 2024, and the time of his arrest, he had fentanyl, meth, cocaine, heroin, and his person with the intention of distributing them. Okay, and this includes the meth pills shaped like a cartoon character that could also be mistaken for candy. The district attorney office published a photograph of the pills, and yep, those pills are shaped like Mario, down to the finest detail. He's got his cap complete with the big M in the center of the iconic mustache. Bro, these are printing, right? Right, the real Dr. Mario water. Yeah. What is happening here? Now, obviously, he got sentenced to jail not because he had Mario. I thought Nintendo was like, we're suing, and that's why he went to jail. No, he went to jail because he's a fucking drug dealer sending pills to people. But Rogers pled guilty to possession, the intent to distribute charge October of last year, and was officially sentenced on Monday, May 11th, for 63 months of imprisonment and possession of distribution, with the additional 9 months being tacked on for violating his supervised release terms. Prior to this, Roger was sentenced to 37 months in prison for narcotics distribution and firearm possession, with another 14 months added for violating a previous... Yeah, but did he serve that? Obviously, if he served that time, he didn't learn his lesson. Okay, being released from prison in March 2024, 2 months before he was found with the Mario pills. I know we talk about video games, and we're talking about this because the dude sold Mario-shaped head stuff. But if this man served 37 months, and then 14 months on top of that, probably didn't serve his entire time there, 2 months, got out of jail, and then started selling replicas of Mario's head in meth form? Like, what are we talking about, people? Right? Why were they shaped like Mario specifically? No clue. Maybe the M on this hat stands for meth in the context. I would assume, and this is some fucked up shit, I would assume they're doing this because he's selling it to young kids. Right? I would assume. But where are you printing out the mold for Mario? Like, they need to go farther into this. There needs to be a full investigation. Where's this dude printing out Mario head shapes, and where's it coming from? Screw the 6 years in prison for this dude, because as soon as he gets out 6 years from now, he's going to do it again. He's going to do it again. But at that point, it'll be Fortnite characters that he makes the shapes out of. Mr. G says this is where on his scam of meth animal crackers, he had to change the mold. Yeah, kids love cookies. Got to keep the lights on. 3D printer? You think it's a 3D printer? I don't know. Maybe. That's good, Crowded. It's good. Oh, no. It's me, Mario. And why is it not Warhammer 40K? We're already paying meth prices. It would be funny if there was it was Grand Theft Auto 6's logo. Okay? Because you got to have Grand Theft Auto 6. World says nothing new. I knew people when I saw 18 who were used to get shape like Yoshi eggs and other gaming characters. Okay? Meth cookies. All right, let's go to the next topic. Fucking meth cookies. Shaped as Mario. Maybe he was trying to do cross promotion with the new Mario movie. Who knows? All right. Next story. Forza Horizon 6 PC performance analyst heavy on your CPU with unaspiring ray tracing, but at least it all runs very nicely. Okay. So from the headlines to old gaming PCs, pretty much anything will run the new Forza. Well, that's good to know. It's been 5 years since Xbox Studios launched Forza Horizon 5, and now it's back again. And Forza Horizon 6 should be burning rubber, smashing through fences, generally causing a four-wheel mayhem in around Tokyo, Japan. Forza Horizon games have also been around very much of arcade driving in nature, and number 6 doesn't aim to change things in any sense. The truth is, to be told, the new version is a whole heap different to its predecessor. Isn't a whole heap different from the predecessors, at least on face value. But it's okay because Forza Horizon 5 looked great, ran well on most PCs, and it's a blast to play. If that all is up your alley, then you'll be pleased to know that Forza Horizon 6 is very much more of the same thing, except this time you can use ray tracing everywhere. Okay, if you want a very best visuals experience, you can also render workload scalable across a ridiculous broad range of gaming PCs from the Steam Deck all the way through the 3D V-cached chip paired with the high-end GPU. All right, so there you go. There's your minimum recommended Extreme and Extreme RTs. Basic from i5 8400s and AMD's 1600, all the way up to Extreme RT, Intel Core, i7 1270 or 12700 and AMD Ryzen 7 770 or 7700, I should say. So you have to have, it looks like you have to have a solid-state drive. You can run Windows 10 and 11. Last night, I can't run. If I want to get that Lego Batman game on PC, I don't have Windows 11. You have to have Windows 11 to run it. It says, just all publishers do these days, Xbox Game Studios released a system requirement breakdown indicating that the people's hardware is required to achieve the stated performance as given resolution, graphic presets. It's also set off these just as well reality matches Microsoft's claims. Is there actually a review? Are they out? Reviews out? I know they're posting numbers. Is there a video review of this game? I would like to see if there is one. Are there video reviews yet up on YouTube? Oh, here you go. Perfect. All right.
The Horizon series is occupied a very...
We're going to watch ACG's video. Okay? But I want to preempt this. I'm going to grab his name, put it in the description down below. Okay? We're going to stop and pause and do all this other stuff, okay? To look at the game as he's doing it. I do highly recommend going to these people's channels that we cover. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, watch these people's content. Okay, I don't mean to take their content, right? As the form of the show that I do, we cover news stories and relevant stuff. So we go use other people's content. We give them credit, 100% credit for what they do. But make sure, because it's a brand new video, it's only been out for 3 hours. Obviously, we're not a gigantic stream. So, we're not pulling thousands and thousands of views away from him. But please go over there, give it a like as we watch it over here. Let me put his channel in the description down below. ACG. I like watching ACG because he's just, he gives the information. He's not trying to fluck the numbers up. Fluck the numbers. What the fuck does fluck mean? I don't even know what the fuck that means. All right, here we go.
The Horizon series has occupied a very specific place in racing games for over a decade now. It's not trying to be a perfect simulator. It's not trying to model the exact molecular structure, your brake pads after 47 laps in humid weather, while a man in a polo shirt tells you about tire degradation like you're taking a graduate course in.
Yeah, it's not a Gran Turismo, right? I do like the Forza Horizon where the cars feel great to drive. It is arcadey, but enough of, you know what I mean? It's like the details and stuff, the way you can customize the cars and stuff is great, but it also doesn't take itself too serious.
Rubber sciences. It's about mud bogging at Mock Jesus, sluicing through earth juice and passing that one last mud goblin right before the finish line. But like a redneck in geography class, everybody's asking, where's Japan? And we all have kept...
Do I have it on the... yeah, it's on HD right now.
Wondering the same thing. Finally, Microsoft and Turn 10 have broken the glass in case of emergency, and we finally get to go to a land that Fast and the Furious 3 single-handedly made more popular in a way that anime, thousands of years of history, and hentai couldn't. Japan. Honestly, I never thought this one would happen. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. Check.
People have been asking for this one for a really long time. They wanted to go to Japan.
It out. Also, leave comments. We love to give games away like this to commenters and subscribers. And you guys know me.
And this is why you should go to his channel, right? If you leave comments and stuff like that, he does giveaways and stuff like that. So definitely go support his channel.
I buy every game I review, even if the dev gives me a code. So for the Horizon series, every entry has delivered on a particular fantasy in some form. You've got Australia and Mexico, different locations. Same core idea, though. Take beautiful scenery, inject it directly into the bloodstream of car culture, and then let players behave like rolling insurance claims and just go out there and do what they want. But for years, everybody has been asking about Japan. And finally, after all these requests, we're finally getting it. Playground Games absolutely have
How many of you, when you drive, don't ever hit the brakes? Come on, show of hands. How many of you don't ever hit the brakes? You use the other cars to smash into them, to knock them off the road, to then get the lead, to never touch the brake ever again.
Understood the assignment. Because one second you're blasting down a neon-lit expressway in the rain while reflections smear across the hood and some heavily modified skyline screaming like a mechanical banshee behind you, driving into street races here or there, a crossroad race over here, another player-made event over there, then exploring for a couple hours just taking screenshots, then for no reason, like me, spending 3 hours trying to see how far you can launch off a particular rock ledge on a mountain somewhere.
I mean, that's what I do. I'm definitely going to play this game, and obviously I'm not buying it pre-order. I'm not getting it day one because I'm not getting the deluxe edition or whatever. I'll play it because it's on Game Pass, and I'll play it because my son and I, we've played Forza Horizon 4, we've played Forza Horizon 5, and now we'll play Forza Horizon 6.
This is the thing about the Forza Horizon series. They're not trying to reinvent it ever, really. They're just trying to build upon it and refine it. And whether or not that works for you is going to depend entirely on what you expect from a series, especially this far along. Because if you show up wanting a fundamentally different game, you may bounce off this pretty quickly. If you wanted Horizon taken to one of the most requested automotive cultures on Earth with more polish, more cars, more progression systems, and one of the better maps Playground has ever made, well, then
That's big. One of the greatest maps they've ever created.
Is probably for you. A little bit yes, a little bit no. Forza Horizon 6 comes out on May 19th, and it's for the Xbox Series X and S, the PC, cloud gaming, Steam. It'll later on be for the PlayStation 5 as well.
How is it, right? How is it, like, we watched the James Bond, right, First Light, and the car driving in there looked super arcadey. Now, this is an arcadey type of game, and yet this looks more realistic than that.
Now, narratively, Horizon 6 sort of sets itself to reset everything when it comes to the narrative, instead of starting as some already established festival megastar where every NPC talks to you like you're the second.
One of my favorite car games in the arcade for arcade and stuff was Rush. I used to love Rush.
Coming. It's instead you being a tourist and deciding to earn your place at the Horizon Festival. Does that magically change the entire setting of the game? Not much. It's a subtle shift. Honestly, it's a smarter one. It actually lets them adjust progression a bit, and they do so in this. So past Horizon game titles occasionally suffered a bit from progression whiplash. 10 minutes in, you're already owning 3 supercars, 6 homes, half a country, and enough sponsorship money to buy the moon. The games were fun, but the sense of advancement sometimes felt a little bit like a Michael Bay car chase through a trampoline factory. Here, the progression is tied back to the wristbands, and it's more meaningful, I guess you could say. You unlock access to bigger...
You do get that sensation of getting bored, because they give you so many good things right away. What I like about the Forza series, I've always liked that we always looked at, like, sort of like what Crimson Desert's doing right now as a single-player game. Like, there's so much to do, and the more you explore, there's more things you find on the map. Forza is awesome since 4, at least when I started playing in the 4. Like, there's so much to do. Like, you go to a location, and all of a sudden, like, these, like, 20 things pop up, and you have so much to do with just that. Then you go to the next mission, they have another 20, right? You have, like, hundreds and hundreds of things to do. It doesn't become boring, right? It does become different because you are switching cars. You're switching classes. You're doing different races, right? It's very cool. And then plus the exploration around the map. They've done a very well job with Forza in the past, and it looks like this one's going to do just as good.
Events, invitationals, and prestige races through that, but you also have a ton of stuff connected to the online, as well as just finding the separate races, your head-to-heads, and everything. There's some momentum here, and I have noticed that they've definitely tuned down the wheel when it comes to spinning for cars and money. Usually I get money, and you get money from races as well. I can deal with that. It's a little bit better than being gifted almost every single epic or legendary car there is. Now, the world itself is set entirely around a bit of contrast. You have dense urban districts inspired by Tokyo. You have expressway loops sitting alongside bamboo forest, industrial zone.
Crowd says, what happened to the Crazy Taxi remake? I just heard something that they Capcom is working on Crazy Taxi still. It's still coming out. Mr. Z says, I did a 14-hour marathon one Saturday with San Francisco Rush Racing on the Dreamcast. So good. I love the arcade. I liked it when it was on the console, but I love the Rush arcade machine. It was if I could find one, I would buy it. I love that game.
Snowy mountain roads, quiet countrysides, coastlines, drifting passes, and neon-lit highways all encased within the map. And Playground absolutely leaned into the automotive culture here when it comes down to it. I think the setup of their map is
my favorite car is a 1967 Shelby Cobra. I got the 67 Shelby Cobra. Actually, it's a 65 Shelby Cobra inside of Forza Horizon 5. If they can put another Shelby Cobra in this game, please, that's the car I want to drive. I love that car.
Actually insanely well done for the size of it and what they're trying to deliver, with everything being far enough away to have a journey to get to, but not so far away that you think, oh, maybe I'll just fast travel to a house and then pop back in there. Tokyo City is actually pretty nice. Playground described it as a larger, open, urban environment than any prior game. It feels generally like that, but admittedly, the way the game is set up, you can end up flying out on a highway, just not even really realizing you're leaving the city 1 second. And I sort of like that varied feel. There's just a great deal to explore, and it's a unique location.
Everybody wants to go up on that mountain. Hopefully we can go up on that mountain.
The campaign also benefits, I think, from the setting, because the entire damn structure is always revolving around discovery and progression through the Horizon Festival itself in the past games. While that's still here, and you still definitely have that, there's just a lot of exploration rewards you have here. I'll talk about the barns and stuff in a second. But when it comes to discovery, you have 550 vehicles at launch with a great mix of cars, European exotic.
Look at him stopping at the crossroad.
American muscle. You've got Japanese icons. They're all here, as well as trucks and so forth. And no matter what you're racing, the sense of speed in this game is phenomenal. I really do like there's a huge difference between the sense of speed you may get in a dirt rally moment that you have in this game when you're driving one of the buggies versus an actual speedster just going down the side of some kind of coastal road. The game is able to handle this and handle it quite well, which we'll talk about in the performance. One thing that I will say about this is they have a loyalty rewards program. You get some stuff if your save data from prior Horizon games is on your system. Now, when it comes to the gameplay, Horizon 6 still basically plays like it should. I mean that as a compliment.
That's nice. A loyalty system, right? Just that little extra thing that, hey, you've played our other games, so we're going to give you something in here.
Driving
Better than fucking pre-order shit.
remains, I would say, very approachable while still allowing enough depth for you to go in, tune things, and put assists on or off. They can help somebody who's brand new to racing or somebody who's been drifting since the very first game. You can play the game as a casual. I just want to drive around and enjoy cool cars, or you can jump into the festival. There's enough here for pretty much everybody. Cars maintain, I would say, the signature Horizon balance between a bit of arcade accessibility and understandable or at least believable weight, while the vehicles themselves
that's what I was saying before. Like, it's arcadey, but it's also got that real feel to it.
Also are pretty responsive without drifting into full simulation territory or full arcade. You can drive it also with a steering wheel or a gamepad. I'll talk about that in a bit. When it comes to the different cars and
Crowded says, I remember letting my dad try a racing game I had in PlayStation 4, and he would just maintain 60 miles an hour. Like, following all the rules. He's putting his blinker on, stopping at the red lights. You're like, Dad, it's not that type of game.
How they feel, I would say they actually feel the way I would expect in a game that's like this without that heavy sim element. And integrating that with Japan's unique locations has honestly turned out very well. The mountain passes in particular, they're awesome. They feel great. Super tight corners, amazing, really iconic kind of feel to them. And then going down into the city and racing through that at nighttime when the wind and rain start coming down, just really well done. But to me, it's the exploration. Some of the best moments have happened to me while I'm just driving around, discover a side road, go down it, find another race, a hidden route, a tiny town, a scenic overlook, or some hidden barn. And that progression structure pretty much unlocks as you continually do so. Also, when you're exploring...
Ray says, racing game? Blah. Racing game in Japan? It's that, what's that rapper's name? Dre? Right? No. What's his name? The one that's like, I don't know. You guys know.
Around, you'll find different locations like drifting spots and other things that will give you extra points as you continue to race. This is all pretty much status quo for a Horizon open world racing game. Now, the festival playlists return here. They've got expanded seasonal objectives they're doing. There's going to be some live service.
I love the interiors.
But
I'm going to go back here for a second. I'm a big seller on, I love seeing the arms and the character inside the car. I love that. I hate when you go into a game and, like, it has to have the human touching the steering wheel now for me, right? I hate the fact that when you just, like, in American Truck Simulator, I hate that you don't see the actual arms and stuff like that. In SnowRunners, they added the arms, and the arms were all like crazy, and they fixed that over the years. But I love seeing the actual, right? It's just that one little detail that immerses you inside it even more.
Objectives they're doing. There's going to be some live service content updates, but regardless of that, a lot of this you can experience just by yourself on your own. That especially comes down to the customization that's in the game. So the tuning systems are about as extensive as we saw in the last games. You can not only download community setups, upload your own, tweak handling, gear ratio, suspension. You've got your tire adjustments, camera positioning, and all manner of adjustments, and you can really dial that in. Also, people are still freaking out over decals on the windows, so if you feel like that's discovering fire for the first time, you can do so. I put googly eyes on mine just because I could, and yeah, it works. I will point out that no matter what, vehicle customization is not unlimited here. There are still going to be missing parts, missing cars, specific modifications people want or adjustments people want. It is not that kind of game. It's a middle ground kind of game. So you probably will find some adjustment that you want to do or some thing with a livery that you want to do that you won't be able to. You'll just have to work around it. So there were absolutely moments where I searched for some random car as well from my childhood and realized it wasn't included yet. That just might be one of those things that ends up coming out later. Customization continues, though. You've got custom events. They're almost everywhere, just made by the community themselves. But
we will play this on stream, and anybody that wants to play, we can do like races across all of Japan. You know what I mean? From like point A to point B, and just have fun like that. I love doing stuff like that.
At any point, you can.
We had a race. I don't know if El Dente remembers this. I think it was the Crew 1. I think it was Crew 1. We raced across the entire United States in that game. There was like 4 or 5 of us that did it. It was fun.
Basically just say, I want to make a custom race and drive a particular route, turn that into a race and share it with others. That kind of sharing, that is also extended to not only the homes and your inside garages, but also your estates, where you can put all kinds of crazy stuff out. You can put entire racetracks out. It is actually a full-blooded customization
That's very good.
engine when it comes down to it. The amount of stuff you can do customizing, not just your cars, but the world around you, is pretty crazy. Whether people are going to want to dive into that, I don't know. I thought it was very awesome. And the online system's easy enough. You just dive in or dive out. Convoys return as well. Player encounters.
Here's what I know. I'm being very picky here about this, and I understand to be like, well, why do you want to bring it? Like we talked about this the other day. Argus actually talked about it about bringing guns from one game to the other, like in Destiny. I feel like in a game like this, especially in the Forza Horizon series, they could add different cars that weren't in the other game, right? There's so many cars over the years and stuff like that, that you should be able to bring cars over. Do you know what I mean? I'm not maybe saying your whole garage, maybe. I don't know. I just feel like you've spent so much time with these cars, building them, tweaking them, doing different things that, sure, if you bring them over, it kind of cuts the thing. But if these cars weren't in this thing because they didn't want to do it, and I understand there's licensing agreements and other things that maybe they didn't get the license for a certain brand that they can't bring over, but man, it would be really nice if you could bring, a couple cars or something over here to do something that weren't going to be in the game anyway, right? Like these cars are not in this game, so you can bring these. You could bring your garage over here. That would be cool. I know they won't do it, though.
Return, community tuning, all that kind of stuff. Auction houses as well are still here. Auction houses are nice. You can jump in there. You can look for, filter out specific cars with specific tunes, things that people...
That is true, though. I'll be honest with you. If that's what they said, they're like, sorry. That's why I put it in Japan. They're like, you can't come over. It costs way too much to move your garage over. Actually, I would be okay with that. If they actually said that, hey, we had to leave your other garages over there, but you could pick one car. You could bring one car over.
Have done different paint jobs, all that kind of stuff. You pick a car and you put a bid on it, or you just buy it straight out. You can also sell your own. And weirdly enough, you might sell a car that you think nobody's going to want to buy, but it may be not one of the 2 or 3 that person has, and they might give you a...
That would actually be pretty cool, Eclipse. If you could make it where you could play them in offline mode or something, I would accept that. That would be really cool. I just feel like you've spent, obviously it's 5 years. People have been playing that game for 5 years. They have a huge garage, and now you're just kind of like leaving it behind, you know? I get it. Like if you want to go play that game. I get it. I know I'm just bringing up something that doesn't really need to be in the game, but I would like that like one car or like 2 cars to bring over.
Couple bucks for a low-level car. It's definitely worth actually doing. And getting out there and customizing everything.
Argus says, cars can come across the game. That's fine. Just not armor and weapons, specifically the looter shooter games like Doom and fix the function. Well, hold on a second now, because I could have a better car than you in this game, and we could race, and my car in Class A is better than your car in Class A because I've souped it up and have the different specifications and stuff like that, so you do have an advantage over somebody.
Especially...
I'm just saying more from a collector's type of thing, you know?
When it comes to your house is pretty cool. As you're driving around and you're finding barns, you're finding different vehicles, you can customize your home to look any way you want, or your garage, we'll call it.
Well, see, look, the Warthog, is this from last one or this one? The Warthog was in the last one. There's a couple of cars that are in the last game that are over here. The Nomad was over here as well in the last game.
And
there's actually a lot of cars.
Vehicles you can custom.
There's actually a lot of cars that were from the last game in here. All right, I'm okay with that.
Customize your home to look any way you want.
I mean, I have to buy them again, but you know.
Or your garage, we'll call it. And you put your cars in different positions. But you can just go and grab somebody else's garage design and then pay the difference between the two and build out their garage as well.
I missed that. Let me rewind that for a second. He was talking about...
actually doing. And getting out there and customizing everything. especially when it comes to your house, is pretty cool. As you're driving around and you're finding barns, you're finding different vehicles, you can customize your home to look any way you want, or your garage, we'll call it.
That's cool.
And you put your cars in different positions, but you can just go and grab somebody else's garage design and then pay the difference between the two and build out their garage as well. I really thought the customization was pretty awesome. Accessibility options are here too. They have improved. There is a ton of customization here when it comes to accessibility, color blindness.
You know what I also liked that Forza Horizon does? I love the fact that even Magic Dolphin a couple weeks ago put a screenshot into Discord, like years, he's been playing the game. He's been playing Forza Horizon 5. And Big Mo, like your friends list is inside the game. So, like, you're racing against people. Obviously, it's not really you. But I like that little detail because when you're playing by yourself and you have, like, your friends list on the actual thing that you can race up against, I like that little thing.
All that kind of stuff. Though I did still actually struggle to really fully disable some parts of the HUD that I wanted to. Overall, though, there is a great deal when it comes to the interface and adjustments that you can make if you want to. The game has a ton of stuff. It's money, cars, decals, rewards, badges, cosmetics. It's all there. And it's just a dopamine ride that honestly never stops. And personally, I think it works a lot for the Horizon games. Fundamentally, they've been designed around sort of that freedom,
always
that
one more
exploration, but also at the same time, in some way, slightly tickling that edge of making a car feel your own. And with this one, I think they did it. And they also did it in Japan, which is a huge bonus. But how does it look? Honestly, it looks pretty damned awesome. The revised Forza Tech engine now has some absurd visuals, especially at night. Driving through...
I bet this game looks phenomenal on a high-end PC. Looks phenomenal. I can't wait to see screenshots of this stuff.
Through Tokyo-inspired districts in heavy rain, all the reflections bouncing across the wet pavement and the neon lights. That thing was amazing. Importantly, most of it just feels solid. It has a nice, solid image quality. I'll talk about some of the little issues I had in a sec.
If you guys have ever raced on the dirt and stuff like that, the way this is happening right now, the way the hands are moving and he's adjusting and stuff, it's like spot on.
It has a nice, solid image quality. I'll talk about some of the little issues I had in a second. But when it comes to the driving around, experiencing other random drivers on the game world that aren't players, that's all there. And there's enough there, by the way, to actually cause issues in some races, so be aware of that. But it doesn't really matter where you go. Dense urban streets, your coastal highways, your bamboo groves, everything has a very strong feel of difference to it. So no matter where you are, I was able to, after just a couple hours, sort of realize where I was at any particular time in the game map without absolutely throwing up some kind of...
I love, like, check how fast he's going and the grass is just doing this. We talked about this 5 years ago. People were actually, like, 3 years ago when they did the other Forza, not Horizon, but the other one, Motorsports, where you're going like this past the grass. And everyone's like, yeah, but the grass detail looks bad. It's like, bro, most of the time you're not stop looking at the grass. You're going past the grass at 160, 200 miles an hour. You're not looking at the grass.
Map or system to see exactly where it was I was sitting. The game's got a good number of settings: shadow quality, foliage detail, reflection quality, draw distance, FSR, DLSS, XASS, XLLSS. It's got them all. It's got frame generation as well. But you can also turn on and off ray tracing. Off, it actually looks completely fine. On, it does offer what I would say to be not only a superior quality, but a superior reaction around the game world. There is something to be said about having ray tracing even at low on in this game, but
there's a little bit of hitching I noticed, but I don't know if that's because of the YouTube or if it's because of the game.
It'll be up to you. There's just something about how it reacts, and in particular, some of the locations and races that you go to. Now, you can tweak it endlessly, and you're probably going to want to if you don't have the top tier system. But I will say, if you're aiming for 60, you're not going to have to make very many caveats. Your biggest one is going to be the ray tracing and the shadows. And this also brings us to one of the issues that I noticed. There's a couple, but the first is a noticeable lighting draw in regardless of the settings, or you could just say a fade in. As you're driving, regardless if you have ray tracing on or off, there's almost a sphere of influence you can see where there's a sample change, and it feels like a globe of light change around you. As you're driving, that starts to pop up and become noticeable. This is something that while you're in the midst of a race, you're not going to notice, but if you're just cruising along a road somewhere sedate, like it will pop up and you will actually see it. Yeah. Pop-up is a thing that does happen in the game as well. The other thing is, now I get it. They don't want you to smash a Mazda into 1,000 pieces. I mean, I don't know why they don't, but they don't apparently, because
I always didn't like this about any car game. I used to play this game called NASCAR back in the day. It was on the PlayStation, I think 1 or 2. Fully destructible. You'd see pieces fly everywhere. It was called Daytona, right? It was fantastic. You would see the pieces go everywhere. Fully destructible. That's why I like Wreckfest. Right? You see the pieces. For some reason, these car companies don't want to see their car wrecked.
The destruction still feels pretty underwhelming compared to what we get in not only the presentation here, but in some other games. Not other games as a whole, but just some other ones. It's improved somewhat, but certain destruction textures and collision effects look really low res, especially when you're driving around, you're in one of those races, you're seeing the replay, and rubbin's racing, you smash into somebody, and you see this really low res.
Yeah, like... I want to see the thing destroyed, and here's the way I want, right? Because if you could race and just rub up against everything and stuff, then you should have to pay for repairs. They should put it part of the game. All games, right? You wreck your car, you wreck your thing, you have to make the changes so it makes the drivers better drivers because you don't want to wreck your car.
Resolution kind of decal on the car that brings it down a bit. But I would say that the sheer amount of detail, lighting quality, weather systems, environmental diversity, those are all there and look great. Now, one thing I do want to point out is my wheel support broke in the last 3 weeks, so I did not get to play this with the wheel. Interestingly enough, I didn't see an actual locked-in wheel support path for this. I didn't see anything online that said this is for sure what we support. I could have missed it quite easily that I did, but I played this with the controller, and once again, I will say it feels eminently raceable with the controller. This is a game that's sort of that middle ground, never really has established itself as a very, very strong wheeled contender, but at the same time, I wanted to point that out. Now, when it comes to the audio, Playground's discussed a lot of reworking of the large amounts of the vehicle audio. They've never been trying to be ultra authentic when it comes to this part of the game. It's not their strength when it...
Stop it, Ron. Ron says you should make a repair pass, charge you a subscription fee to repair your car. But you got to pre-order it, though. You got to pre-order it.
It comes to the Forza Horizon versus the Forza mainstays. Different engine sounds do feel distinct enough that modifying a vehicle usually matters sonically, and they have made some changes there. There were some times where I still felt like, you know, overall this vehicle sounds almost identical to this one. That's not necessarily too crazy because a lot of vehicles can sound a lot alike, especially depending on which parts they put on them. But they have made some improvements.
That dude's level 173 already? Holy Christ.
With the spatial audio that I definitely did notice. That'll be up for somebody to test every single car versus the prior ones, because there were a lot of complaints about the prior cars where multiple cars would sound identical to one another when they really shouldn't have. Here, it does feel like they've made some adjustments, but there's so many different vehicles and so many adjustments you'll have to make and test that's beyond anything for right now. When it comes to the immersion, though, and the audio and just hearing that wind whipping by if you turn the music down, works great. Now, when it comes to the voice work, thankfully, it's pretty restrained. The tourist storyline setup mostly avoids a lot of the bad excesses of Horizon's dialogue from past games. Characters still occasionally sound like really motivated speakers trapped inside a Red Bull commercial. But overall, it's much less intrusive unless it's a new barn find or a new event, where many times you're actually stuck at an unskippable NPC face doing their best to say, "Be excited" at the screen. Now, when it comes to the music stations are the usual Horizon mix, which means when it
look at that fin on that car. Is he going to take off?
Comes to the location specific, that'll dominate. And that does here. There were a couple synth-heavy ambient stations that I actually liked when it came to night.
Should be a 30 NSG channel.
Time driving and exploration. One or two others sound like youth marketing campaigns, and caffeinated interns on bouncing balls decided to test to see if anybody knew their band, and if they didn't, they were cooler, so they threw them on there. That'll be up to you. There were some cool, really Japanese-styled tracks in here. It just depends on what you like. There's a little bit for everybody, but I would say this is probably the most eclectic, weirdly enough, even more so than some of the past games when it comes to the soundtracks. So be aware of that. Honestly, I would say Forza Horizon, though, remains one of the few games where silence sometimes works best. Just driving around through rainy highways at night, listening to just the engine sounds and distant city kind of structures have always been the way I like to play this game, and it continues here. So, is it fun? This is where Horizon 6 actually succeeds, for the most part, completely.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember Eclipse.
It really is the kind of game where you say, just one more race, then suddenly realize 2 hours disappeared, and somehow you now own 17 modified Nissans and a rally truck painted like a fucking egg roll. Horizon continues understanding something that a lot of racing games completely forget. Cars are emotional for a lot of people. People don't like driving because of the mechanics all the time. They like the freedom, the movement, the exploration, the speed, the discovery, the feeling and fantasy of going somewhere beautiful in something powerful. And Japan amplifies that, I would say, pretty perfectly. There are some issues there I would love to see, as well as we've got the convoys and the player races, community events, all that kind of stuff. I would have liked to have seen a slightly bigger map. It feels at times constrained, and it may just be the shape of the map itself. I'm going to be interested to see what other people
Wasn't this the biggest map they've made so far?
say about it. I wasn't necessarily put off by it, but at times I was just like, I'm sort of bouncing off things. There are some flaws as well. As I said, technically, you got some of those environmental frustrations, the oddities with the destruction, and got to admit, there were a lot of times where I got stuck on a friggin' beach rock. This is a game where they've got a lot of shorelines with beach rocks, and I swear it's much easier to flip over the car now. Or maybe it's just the way I was driving. I don't know. But regardless, the way I was driving was an indication of the amount of fun I was having. The game has a lot going for it. But if you're going into this thinking, oh man, it's going to be a complete change of pace, it's going to be something completely new, it's going to dive absolutely into Japanese culture and ignore a lot of the mainstays of the Forza Horizon brand, no, it's not. So as you guys know, I rate games on a buy, wait for a sale, deep sale, or never touch it again rating system. Hey, I think this is absolutely worth it. It plays really well. It's got a good frame rate. It's got a lot of technical
pros: driving, exploring, location, mature features, estate customization, cons, pop-in, and just average
achievements that I think are actually pretty impressive for a system like this, with a couple problems, but it's highly enjoyable. It is a fun racing game, and it doesn't take itself seriously. And I think that at this time, when everything seems to take itself insanely seriously, when you have people arguing over how many bumps are on a dial and a radio somewhere, we have a game that's like, yeah, we'll get pretty close. But for the most part, what's really going to end up pushing everybody over the edge is just the absolute fun of playing the game. And I think for the most part, Horizon 6 nails that.
I have a question. Is this only on PC and Xbox at launch? Or is it coming out for PlayStation? Because I think that's pretty funny because it just came out, the last one just came out for PlayStation. So is this only for Xbox and PC at launch? Make sure you guys go give ACG a like on the video. Go give it a sub. I like watching this stuff. I don't really like watching people's videos when they first come out, but because it's Thursday, you won't watch it until next week, and by that time it's a little too late. So I don't really like watching brand new content, but that's why make sure you guys go over there, give it a like. Like, go over there, give it a like. Come on back. We're gonna talk about other stuff. All right, what we got here? I feel like we should wait to talk about this. Marathon Season 2 arrives June 2nd, then there's Embark stuff. We could talk about that. We could talk about that tonight on GXG. Xbox and PC, PlayStation 5 at a later date. PlayStation 5 version is in 6 months away. Okay. What about if she changes her mind, keeps it on PlayStation? Maybe. I just think it's funny because they just released, was it last year? So they've had it for a year. Maybe they wait one full year and then put it out there. So it's not at launch, though. All right, so we were watching. What was this? Why isn't this? Hold on a second. Why is this? What happened? I'm so confused. I had an article, but the article's missing now. Or are they cracking down on the... It looks like they're cracking down on... Yeah, it looks like they're cracking down on the... on how many articles you get to read. You got to subscribe. I get it. I get it. All right. Let's talk about... We talked about Star Wars a couple days ago. Was it this week? Was it this week we talked about Star Wars? Or was it last week we talked about Star Wars? Well, we talked about Ahsoka was supposed to come out. Right? We talked about Ahsoka was supposed to come out. And it was supposed to come out later this year. Right? Because Grogu and Mando, we were talking about what they were going to do with Star Wars, about the World Between Worlds. Well, now Ahsoka Season 1 and Season 2 revealed release date. Gap is totally absurd, he says. All right, this comes from Paul Tassi at Forbes. So, per Disney's upfront, it has been revealed that Ahsoka has been pushed to early 2027, which will make this likely at least 3.5-year gap, if not closer to 4, depending on what early means for early even happens at all. Filming Ahsoka Season 2 wrapped in October of 2025, meaning the post-production is going to be at least 1.5 years, which is frankly ridiculous, even for a Star Wars show. And up front, the new footage has shown from the upcoming season, including more than Hayden Christensen's returning as Anakin Skywalker, as it did in the flashbacks and dream sequences in Season 1. Ahsoka is a manifestation of Dave Filoni's bringing a lot of the Rebels and / Clone War characters to life in live action, though fans aren't wild about it, giving it almost rotten 64% of Rotten Tomatoes score. Critics gave it a higher 86, but the 6th highest Disney Plus show Star Wars series behind Maul, Shadow Lord, Star Wars, Visions, Andor, Mandalorian, and Bad Batch. So why is Ahsoka taking so long, outside of the usual? Some big shows just take forever in 226. Issues that plague large chunks of the industry. In Ahsoka's case, there are 2 additional factors. Okay. One is that the Ahsoka actor, Ray Stevens, tragically died in May of 2023, several months before Ahsoka Season 1 even aired. This performance was highly praised, but rather than write out the character, Game of Thrones actor Rory McCann has taken over the role, first reported in January 2025, well ahead of October's filming. Now, the second factor, I don't think that's a factor. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that's a big factor of why it got delayed. The second factor is likely a large one. That Dave Filoni is not just a showrunner and writer for Ahsoka. He will now be the co-president of CCO of Lucasfilm and behind the entire creative direction of the franchise going forward, so that the transition is likely to keep him busier than he would also have been otherwise, likely pushing Ahsoka back even further. It's not clear if Ahsoka Season 3 is supposed to arrive at some point in the future, but there's also a reported big crossover film behind Mandalorian and Ahsoka, which takes place at the same period, has reportedly been thrown on the back burner, and now we have a Mandalorian Grogu movie instead. Okay, so they've completely scrapped yet another movie. Some have criticized Filoni for overly focusing on his past animated characters rather than expanding too far out beyond. The Ahsoka is not the most beloved project of fans, but more recently, Maul, Shadow Lord, has just broke every Star Wars review score recorded there is, and showing having been created by Filoni himself. Yeah, but nobody watched it. This is yet another show that nobody watched. A lot of people liked it, that watched it, but not many people watched it. Okay, so still a 3.5, 4-year gap. Wait for a new season of Ahsoka is laughable. Though the larger question now must be raised about the future of Disney Plus Star Wars content at all. as nearly every show has now ended short of a very few expectations. Mall is a Disney just turning back the film almost exclusively. So this is absurd, I have to say. How you fumble, right? We talked about Star Wars. How you fumbled the Star Wars franchise this bad, where you have the format of Disney Plus, right? Let's take it back to 2018, 2019 when they started talking about Star Wars coming onto Disney Plus from the streaming service. And we're like, oh, this is gonna be great. Same with the Marvel shows, right? They started making more shows and stuff like that, but none of the shows really meant anything. They didn't connect to the movies very well. They didn't do anything, right? I stopped watching or stopped caring after watching all the Marvel stuff leading up to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, where it didn't connect. And it was just like a pass-by line of what she did during WandaVision. I was like, what was the point of watching all of these things that they were supposed to connect but that don't connect? And I get it from a outsider that's not a Marvel fan. Is like, well, if I have to watch this, now I have to watch all these things to catch up. But yeah, that's usually how it works, though, right? Where you could watch them, they could be standalone shows, but they're not connecting to the actual thing. They're just kind of a waste of time. They don't actually finish it, and they lead you on to the next one, which is like the Walking Dead type of format, which they're always nothing happening until the last 10 minutes, and then it hooks you to come back to the next week for nothing to happen except for the last 10 minutes. Star Wars, right? They had this golden goose of, it was supposed to be an actual Boba Fett show, but then they made the Mando, and Mando came out in season 1 and people really liked it. Then season 2 came out and it was like this huge success, and then they put it on the back burner. Then they made all the other shows and no one really cared, and they screwed up Boba Fett super bad. But these shows, unlike past television in the past, right, where every season there was 22 episodes, 28 episodes of TV shows. Now these corporations have their own platform, and they make 8 episodes of a TV show. They still pretend that there's commercials and stuff when you pay for a subscription model for 44 minutes, and they still project that there's going to be 22 minutes of commercials, even though there isn't. So they shorten the episodes, even if they say they're 2 episodes and they're 22 minutes apiece, but they combine them to make one. There used to be 22 episodes. Now there would only be 16. So they don't even complete the story for those. And then you have to wait 2, 3, 4 years in between season 1 and season 2. And most of the cast looks completely different. You completely lost interest in the show. You're like, what's happening here? And yet here's yet another one where they're like, oh, well, Grogu's supposed to kick it off, and then it was supposed to hand the torch over to them, but now there's a bigger gap. And now they're changing it. We don't know if they're changing the stories, but there has to be reshoots. Why are you delaying this more? Meaning it doesn't connect to what their story they told. There was reshoots for Mando and Grogu. Now there's probably reshoots for Ahsoka. A year and a half of editing afterwards is crazy, especially for this type of stuff. So I don't know how they could do this and completely stumble. Again, this is that rake in the face, right? They turn around, they hit another rake in the face. It's like, what are you doing with these characters? Is anyone interested? Is anyone going to go see Grogu and Mando and Grogu? Like, you have to see it. Are you going to see it in theaters? And do you care about Ahsoka season 2? I don't think anyone cares. I think they're scared. I do. I think they don't think that the Grogu movie is going to do very well, and they're like, we'll just toss that to the side, and we gotta figure it out what we're going to do. Because if Grogu and Mando don't work out, this is the point of no return, right? This is the point of no return. Because Ahsoka is supposed to be like the key to all of this, which is funny. Because as people hate how everything revolves around Skywalker, technically everything revolves around Ahsoka. And Ahsoka, when she first came into the cartoon in the Clone Wars, people didn't like it because they're like, where is she during, the original trilogy? How come she was never mentioned? Well, they kind of wrote why she wasn't part of there, because she wasn't a Jedi. She left. And she was supposed to die, but then she got pulled from the world between worlds, which kind of just fucked up everything, regardless. And now they're trying to use that to fix everything by also still destroying everything. But these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? Right? Do you think Ahsoka is the key and Dave Filoni's character is the key to fix Star Wars moving forward? Is a world between worlds fixing Star Wars? And is Ahsoka season 2? Is anyone going to care? Does a tree fall in the woods or make a sound in the woods if no one's there to listen? It does, but no one's there to see it, right? And I feel like that's what Ahsoka season 2 is and what this Grogu Mando movie is, right? As a Star Wars fan, I still love Star Wars. I do. But I love the old Star Wars, right? I like Star Wars comics, and I like Star Wars shows like the cartoons, the Clone Wars. Bad Batch is actually pretty good, right? I think I might watch the Maul show just to see because I like the other ones that came before it. But just the movies, man, they're just not hitting it. Video games are probably the best thing right now for Star Wars. But again, these are just my thoughts. Some of yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. All right, let's see here. Warbird says Star Wars is the single most lost IP Disney has next to Marvel at this point. Fucking ridiculous. Last night on Fake Wizards News, they brought up that on, was it Bath and Body Works? They have like candles and like, it was called the Force Flow. Flow Force? What was it called? It's like body spray and cologne and shampoo, Bounty Hunter shampoo. And I'm like, what are they doing? What are they doing? What does Grogu smell like? He's got to smell pungent, doesn't he? Mando's probably smells like gas. All the sweat that's underneath that helmet and stuff. Jesus. Just Enough says, I'll watch Ahsoka Season 2 when I get Disney again. No plans on the Mando movie. Warbird says, Star Wars, you're supposed to bring balance to the Force, Anakin. Disney, this is the balance. Grogu smells like an old frog. Sarge says feminizing Star Wars for no reason. Yeah, like I get it. It's been there for years now, but it's just like, who are you marketing to? No, nobody needs to buy a Grogu loofah and be like, I'm gonna go see the movie. It's gonna be big sales. Altern says, are they gonna start selling Mando bathwater? Probably. All right, we're gonna watch a video that Travis submitted to me. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but we're gonna watch it. Okay. It says First Light 007's Arkham moment. Okay. We're gonna watch this. It's from Game Bolt. We'll see what they're talking about here. Okay. Altern says Bo-Katan's bathwater. I know a lot of people would buy it. Warber says, come on, 30. You know you want the Grogu loofah. The loofah literally looks like Grogu's face melted. You know what I mean? All right, here we go. First Light could finally give Bond his Arkham Asylum moment. All right, let's see. We might not watch this whole thing.
We often talk about moments from our years playing video games that remain with us long after we've rolled the credits on the adventures they were a part of. Arkham Asylum and
this video is based on our own experience with 007 First Light and Batman Arkham series and reflects our personal views on what they offer and how they feel to play. As always, we recommend you make your own informed call by looking into the games yourself and ensuring that they match your expectations, standards, and personal values.
The games that followed often creep up in those conversations, as titles that didn't just let us step into Batman's shoes, but into the very soul of the character, standing for everything he's...
Well, the combat already is better than 007 because multiple people are trying to attack him before. They're not waiting their turn.
...stood for in his fight to ensure Gotham's safety. Why have we brought that up all of a sudden? Well, we're glad you asked, since we believe that another character with cool gadgets and a strong sense of justice is getting his due in a similar fashion. IO Interactive's take on James Bond in 007 First Light is looking like its gameplay systems and mechanics are built around the character and all of the cool things he's garnered a reputation for over the years. There have been other Bond games before, sure, with GoldenEye 007 coming close to bringing the character to life in ways that count. But just...
I have a question. And again, I know I'm going to be nitpicky here. Batman has armor on, right? Batman has armor. Now, I get it. That also he's a comic book character and he takes stuff. And I know we play other video games in the past, right? That you're a character that gets shot at and you don't die, like in Division, stuff like that.
A reputation for over the years.
But here, Bond doesn't have any armor on. He's got zero armor on.
There have been
right?
other...
Bullets are whizzing by his head, hitting him. Like that went through him right there. That went through. This guy just shot. It went through your head. Okay. Multiple bullets are hitting you, right?
Before,
Multiple bullets are hitting you.
Sure, with GoldenEye 007.
Now, I don't know where his health meter is here. Right? That's a charge for battery. That's chemical stuff. I don't see an actual health bar.
Coming close to bringing
And as you're getting hit, the screen's turning red, meaning you're being hit multiple times.
the character to life.
Like, look how many shots he took there. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like he's getting destroyed.
To life in ways that count.
Potter Bear says he does have armor 30. It's called plot armor.
But just like how Rocksteady made us feel like we were actually Batman every time we picked up a controller, First Light looks like a great opportunity for its studio to do the very same thing with James Bond. So join us as we explore how First Light could finally let us take on an experience that makes us feel like James Bond instead of just merely controlling him. A hero as a playable fantasy. Let's take a look at what made the Arkham games awesome before we dive
I agree, Eclipse. That's what I figured. The screen is turning red.
into why First Light could achieve a similar vibe with James Bond. Beginning with Arkham Asylum, the game didn't...
Such a good game, by the way. And don't get me wrong, the stealth in this game, sometimes you would take someone out, they would make noise, but at least they would respond. They'd be like, huh? And they would walk over there.
waste any time with Batman's origin story. That was a good move, considering that part of Batman's ethos was well established at that point, and by putting him right in the middle of a scenario that allowed us to take on his mantle in a way that was true to the character. It didn't copy its source material outright, but wove it into the gameplay loop in meaningful ways. Each of its systems tackled an aspect.
My biggest problem with Batman back in the day was this. I love that you can sneak around, but I hate it because the game looked so beautiful back then, but you spent most of the time in X-ray vision type of thing.
Aspect of the character that had been woven into why he had so many fans in the first place. Every blow from his fist was calculated, precise, and brutal in a fight.
Still such a good
Striking
game.
from the shadows was designed to strike fear into the hearts of his prey, with the game actually making that emotion a tangible part of the experience. His cowl came with detective vision, which played into Batman's technological prowess, and the intelligent use of Wayne Industries tech to support his crusade against crime. His gadgets made the utility belt a necessary part of his adventure, and each one furthered the notion that Arkham Asylum wasn't for beginners, but rather a seasoned crime fighter who was well equipped to handle threats that Gotham's finest would have been hard-pressed to contain. Now, we think that First Light is an opportunity for something similar with James Bond. It could be special since it seems to understand that its story and systems need to make the character feel inevitable. It needs to trust its own mechanics to sell the illusion that we're actually being Bond instead of just merely playing as him. From what we've seen so far, things are looking pretty good on that front. While Asylum didn't need to reintroduce Batman's tragic origins to the world, First Light focuses on Bond in the early stages of his career as a spy, and it's a great way to have us invested in his eventual progression into the super spy that we all know and love. So let's
Yeah, but he's not the super spy yet.
take a little bit deeper of a look at how the game actually could achieve that. Living the Bond dream. Now, we've all fantasized enough about gallivanting around the world on top secret missions.
If I can't drink, have sex with hot chicks, then I'm not getting the Bond experience.
Being bold enough to chart our own path to our objectives. Orders from above be darned. Well, with Bond being positioned as a talented but rather reckless operative, we think that First Light is onto something special here. That's because playing through the adventures ties systemic progression to his character arc in a way that instantly creates a sort of connection between the game's system and its narrative. When you look at the game through that lens, it's pretty easy to see how each mission you take on can feel like you're actually helping good old James grow into the legend we already know he's going to be one day. He's a talented yet impatient operative, and he's going to have to learn to take a more restrained approach when the situation demands it, even if he's more than capable of going in all guns blazing. His gadgets could let him gradually learn new ways to handle tricky situations, and the 00 status could then be a reward that's earned alongside his status as one of MI6's most legendary names. Where Arkham Asylum put the legend of Batman to the test, First Light could be the game that lets you become the legend, standing at Bond's side.
I mean, that's what it is, though. You're not Bond yet. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming, based on what they've said, is that you're becoming James Bond that we know, but he's not that yet.
Through a story that tackles the character's nuances in ways that feel organic and feel rewarding. We think that IO Interactive, being the studio behind First Light, is a good thing in this regard. We're sure you've already heard all of the comparisons to Hitman already, and we're not going to dwell on that other than to say that we think that First Light might share some of its DNA with the studio's previous work, but could very well just build on it. We say that because the Hitman games do bring in the element of solving puzzles in a way that feels elegant rather than just brute forcing your way to a solution. That's what Bond's all about after all, and any story involving him must have enough forward momentum while weaving in a sense of danger, of course. While Bond's charismatic nature, and of course the spectacle of all of it, support the game's very systems. While Hitman was all about preparation and careful execution, Bond often finds that his best laid plans are often overridden by the situation at hand, and that improvisation is the need of the hour.
Yeah, might. Yeah, they haven't played it. They said their experience of what they've played, which if they were at the play test, was only 3 hours, right? 3 hours, I think it was.
And that's where we honestly think that First Light systems are crucial in setting up an adventure that feels true to the character, instead of merely telling the story of his early days. The definitive spy experience. We'd say that IO really has its work cut out for it if it aims to bring Bond to life in a way that feels respectful.
I do think the fight mechanics that he does, like the different things, is nice, right? But I do feel that the radius of the NPCs detecting you and what they see or don't see is kind of dumb for the NPCs.
To what the character
I've seen it multiple times now.
Represents. It's going to have to weave in stealth, social manipulation, melee and range combat, driving, and
like right here, right?
I like this
stealth.
Part. Social.
I like here you're trying to talk your way out of it.
Manipulation,
and then you fight, and then you, whatever. Here they're facing the other direction. Bomb goes off, smoke goes, right?
Combat.
Not until a couple seconds. Here, it's like 2 seconds.
It's going to have to weave in stealth, social manipulation, melee and range combat, driving,
it's like 2 or 3 seconds before that other NPC
and
like notices a giant smoke grenade go off.
In grand set pieces.
Not the initial boom, but like the smoke.
All of that is quite challenging on its own, but there's also the component of player agency to consider. It needs to make us feel like a spy, with the ability to just hide in plain sight, eavesdrop on conversations, turn
Well, you can definitely hide in plain sight considering the NPCs don't see you.
Security systems against whatever they're actually protecting, and hopefully bluff our way to otherwise inaccessible areas. It needs to make us feel like Bond's charm is at our disposal in those very conversations. And when words don't work, it needs to make Bond feel like a lethal force out in the field, or one whose tech provides the scope for further improvisation. Of course, it can't make Bond feel
Fucking tall grass, man.
Invincible, and must make him feel like he's just a few bad calls away from a very abrupt end. None of the Arkham games made Batman feel like nothing could actually bring him down, but they didn't reduce him to just punching his way through hostile areas either. There was a sort of balance to all of it, and we think First Light is well poised to bring that balance to a Bond title. It cannot reduce Bond to just being a reckless operative who just shoots his way past all the obstacles. Where Arkham made Batman feel like the world's greatest detective,
because he is,
and a deadly predator, First Light must make Bond feel like the world's greatest improviser, who adjusts to any given situation with style
And I do like this. I like the fact that you could pick up something off the table and use it as a weapon, right? That I don't have a problem with. I think that's very cool what they're doing here. It's the NPCs look dumb.
In substance. And while we're on the subject of style, we don't think that Arkham's free flow combat system could actually work in First Light. Instead, it needs to give us the impression of an agent
The impression.
who is able to keep a cool head and survive with his presence.
Why would that blow up?
To give us the impression of an
Why would that blow up?
agent who is
You're not
able
even
to keep
shooting.
a cool head and survive with his presence of mind, letting him find clarity, even in situations where everything around him is falling to chaos. So, to that end, First Light needs to ensure that Bond uses his fists and guns in ways that let him stay a step ahead of his enemies. His training allowing him to win fights, not be-
Is there a health, right? Now, I know what you said earlier, Clips, like the screen is your health when it turns red. But if I don't heal myself, right? Does it just go away like I'm Wolverine and all of a sudden I heal? Or is there actual I heal?
because he's a superhero, no, who can dominate the battlefield, but because he's a deadly threat that acts on sharp instincts and quick thinking. Of course, Agent 47 has always been that way, and translating all of that to a Bond title isn't too much of a stretch. That's another reason why we feel First Light could be a breakthrough title for this character. A world of intrigue. There's another aspect to consider when we put Arkham Asylum in conversation with First Light. Where Batman's pilot adventure in that franchise made the Asylum a deadly stage that let the adventure unfold, Bond's new outing cannot be limited to just a single location. In such a scenario, the environments you're going to be navigating as Bond need to become meaningful parts of the experience, instead of just pretty backdrops. Where the Asylum was a place that felt like the perfect playground for a Batman fantasy, the world in First Light needs to be a chessboard where Bond, and those opposed to him, are constantly making moves against each other. Of course, that comes with the caveat of the game feeling too much like a cinematic action game.
Which I think it is.
But we feel that weaving in player agency into the mix could offset that problem.
Because they show a lot more cutscenes and press X type moments than they actually show gameplay moments. The gameplay moments that you see that they've shown is walking around trying to sneak through and stuff like that. And that to me is where they showed the exposure of how bad the NPCs are.
It would let First Light become an experience that's more than just us controlling Bond as he pulls off awesome stunts or does a lot of cool stuff. By making players feel like they're the reason behind every one of Bond's antics out in the field, First Light could further cement the feeling that we're actually behind Bond's rise to fame and glory. It's great then that the game is taking us back to the character's early days, as it frees it up from his well-established legacy in the films and books about him, and allows us to take him down a path to his glory days that feel personal and entirely our own. It's smart to give us Bond at a time before his myth instead of introducing him to us at his peak. If, of course...
I mean, why couldn't you... He doesn't have to be at his peak. I don't actually hate that they said it before he becomes Bond. I don't. I'm okay that he's vulnerable and stuff like that. But at the same time, it seems like you have to try really hard to fail to not pass something here.
Of course, it's all done right. First Light could be the game that becomes the template for what a Bond game should feel like. Just like how the Arkham titles rose to being a benchmark for superhero experiences that would then be imitated in some form or other for years after Asylum was released. There's a similar opportunity here with First Light, and the potential for multiple titles that gradually expand on what he can do until we get to the point where he's a master of his craft. So we're hoping that everything we've talked about here is something that the game's developers have also had conversations about. If that's true, First Light could be the game that ushers in James Bond, bringing him to the screens of a new generation of gamers and cementing his place in modern gaming. It's too early to tell if we're right, but this is one bet we're rather averse to losing. All that remains is to wait for the game to drop and the adventure to begin. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the...
And I feel like a lot of the stuff that we've seen for this, let me put Game Bolt into the description down below. I feel like a lot of the stuff we've seen also with this is we've seen just the prologue or the intro, whatever you want to call it.
Comments below. And if you like
Game Bolt. Give it a like. If you like it, go give their channel, subscribe if you like their stuff. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. There's something about 007 First Light. It's just not clicking with me. There's something off about it. That video that we saw yesterday or 2 days ago, where he's sneaking in, that guy sees him directly and nobody sees him. Like he's like standing right in front, like 10 feet in front of the guy, doesn't see him. I was like, uh-oh. Hopefully they fix that type of stuff before it comes out. What does it come out next week? 22nd, 27th? So I don't know, man. It just seems, something seems off about it. Everything we watched, I think they've done a really good job at promoting it. Right? They've shown gameplay. They've shown a lot of cinematic stuff. They've shown a lot of stuff where you know you're just going to press X type of stuff. I'm a little concerned. Not with the performance, just the game as a whole. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Let's see what else is going on here on Twitter. I'll be online. Oh, what's happening here? Spotify, Apple's technology of video podcasting. Subnautica 2 already has 450,000 plus players on Steam with 90% very pot. Did the game come out? Is the game out? Wait a minute. Is today that game out? I guess it launched it this morning. Yeah, I guess it's out. Came out like an hour ago. Came out an hour ago, and it's got 463,000 people. It's early access, isn't it? Dear Lord. Overwatch and Fortnite event today is so stupid. Oh, Overwatch is in Fortnite now? Amazing. First look at Fireteam 2 gameplay. We played through the entire prologue mission with developers. All right, let's see this. Wait. Can I watch this on... Yeah. Are you 17 years old? I think so.
If anyone is listening, this is Dr.
This is the trailer? I want to see gameplay. I don't want to see that. I want to see gameplay. Hold on. Let me see.
Here they come.
I'm Ryan McCaffrey. Welcome to IGN. We are playing Aliens Fireteam Elite 2. You're watching an entire chunk of mission gameplay here. I'm joined by Chris, the design director.
Didn't we play... It was me, Jay Breezy, and Sarge. Didn't we play the other one like late last year? And it was bad. Is that the same game? We played Fireteam 1, right?
Director. You can see C. Cross there above his name. We've got Nick, the art director, Nick Stillman there, and Derek Wade there as well. Guys,
Is this better than that one?
let's run on in. Let's get to the gameplay. Let's get started. Good to see you, and thanks for doing this.
Hey, thanks for having us. You want to get a little bit of background before we get too deep into it?
Yeah, as we start to wade our way into the horrific xenomorphic terrors.
Yeah.
Let's tell us a little bit about it. I mean, let's just start. Obviously, this is the sequel to a game that a bunch of us have played and really had a great time with, the first Fireteam Elite. So what was sort of the battle cry going into the sequel here?
Let me start first with a couple of design things, which is you'll notice how many of us there are right now. We went from 6 players to 4 players.
I was gonna say.
That's a significant change in lots of ways that sometimes...
Yeah, the movement doesn't look as good, right? The movement, I shouldn't say it doesn't look as good. The movement still looks the same.
Difficult to deal with, but we managed to fit it all in. So we've got 4 players. We're more... not only the regular classes, but we now have a specialist class, which is our make your own or roll your own.
Agreed, just enough. When we played it, it was fun playing with each other, but at the same time, I wouldn't play again.
Class that unlocks after you've played a little bit with every class, so that you can basically make a custom class.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. Yeah, I had a good time before we got started, just customizing my character a little bit here, trying to make him look as...
Now, don't get me wrong now. If you're a big alien guy and you like aliens, right? I would rather play... I mean, some people would rather play Toxic Commando. Some people would rather play 40K. Some people would rather play aliens. Whatever your cup of tea is.
Much like me as I could.
There are a massive amount of customization options to unlock as we go. You'll see... you'll see as you get to play a little bit that
we haven't seen anything in 2 minutes. Nobody's fired a gun.
It's going to seem endless. In fact, it's analysis paralysis. You'll have so many things.
By the way, just a friendly message to the commenters. This is my first time playing Fireteam Elite 2. I've played the first one, so just be gentle on me in the comments. Oh, we've got company.
Yeah. So we're kind of letting you run out in front.
Yeah, I know.
But you're playing the medic class. You maybe don't want to take the Vanguard. So, yeah, I think, Derek, you should go up front.
I do like this shotgun that my medic's got, though.
Yeah, the shotgun feels very satisfying, for sure. Let me see.
So the classic alien motion tracker. Absolutely. Of course, it wouldn't be an alien game without it.
Oh, yeah. The motion tracker will key you in for a lot of surprise.
They're here.
Yep. Here we go.
Now, you guys were mentioning to me before we got started that we have friendly fire turned off, but you can turn it on, which would make these...
You'd be dead, Ryan. If friendly fire was on, you'd be dead.
Encounters a whole lot hairier, yes?
Yeah,
Running in front of everybody.
Friendly fire turned on with difficulty, so your standard difficulty and your casual difficulty will be off. So you'll block shots, but you won't hurt each other. But it does get harder when the fire turned on.
We're getting flanked, guys.
Okay, I wouldn't just shot Chris in the face right there. Thankfully.
It's a love tap.
Yeah, exactly. Just a little peck on the cheek.
We're not going to watch this whole thing.
Keep an eye on our corners here.
Yeah,
Here, we'll fast forward.
Ship from the first game, but Ko has been promoted. It's been 5 years since the first game happened, and her ship came to this colony to answer the distress call, but then disappeared. So Captain Ship, who we all know from the first game, also is like, "That's our people. We gotta go make sure that Ko's all right." So. The Endeavor flies in behind, not too long behind, and then priority number 1 is to try and rescue Ko to try and get the band back together. But then you'll see in the next missions, we put the team back together as we start to uncover the mystery of...
There's something in the box.
We put
Open
the team
crate.
back together as
Did you
we
find
start...
something? They don't even have the mines in the box. It just open.
The mystery of, who put out this distress call, why did they put out this distress call? That mystery starts to unfold as you go through the missions. So over here, we actually are going to rescue Ko. This is in progress.
Okay, fast forwarding.
Claustrophobia and a little bit of atmosphere.
Whew, all right, we made it.
Oh, watch out up top.
Well, yep. Spitter up top. Another returning favorite from the Xenomorph group.
Nice. Oh.
Oh yeah, don't forget melee is your friend sometimes.
Here they
Yep,
come.
there we go.
Look at this.
Fuck. We got Hyde in here.
You know what to do. Light them up.
Yeah, getting that Fire Team Elite feel. I'm definitely glad you're feeling that, Ryan, because that's something we we're talking on making sure.
These set pieces, we're only in the first level. These set pieces are really cool. So.
Oh no.
Oh, thanks.
Not talking shit about the game. This to me doesn't look like a full price game. Maybe it's not. Based on what we're looking at here, this to me is like a $40, $50 game. You can take it as an insult, or you can take it as, I'm a hater or whatever. But what I'm looking at right here, this is a wait for Game Pass, wait to go on sale. This doesn't look like a game you should get full price for. There's better games, better mechanics and stuff. I don't like the way they move. I'll be honest with you. I don't like the way they move. If you are an Alien fan, cool. I get it. This seems like it would be a great game. But games like this, 4-player co-op type of games, shoot 'em up, 40K, Toxic Commando, I don't know. There's so many of them. Okay? This doesn't seem like the next bar has been set with this type of style of game. It looks like they raised the bar from their last game, which is fine, but that bar is way below what the standard of these co-op shooter games are. But just my thoughts. Acid repellent skin and armor. Like it just doesn't seem very. You guys can go watch it. Not that there's not a lot of walking around in 40K, but at least there's more enemies. Right? You know what I mean? Like the reason that Saber Interactive, and the reason I bring up Toxic Commando, because I played the demo and we played 40K on Game Pass. The bar for these types of games is set because of their proprietary like mob system, where there's just so many guys coming out and you're like overwhelmed. This doesn't seem like there's a lot of overwhelm. Again, you said he's on standard difficulty and whatnot, and it just seems like okay. Eclipse says Toxic Commando was $40. If not, that's not worth it. Is this $40? Do we know the price of Aliens? If this is not $40, then it's going to have a hard time selling. Because it doesn't feel like... And again, they've raised the bar from their last game. Let me see what the price is. Has not been announced yet. Has not been announced. It'll sell it for probably, if it's $40, cool. $40, I think that's fine. If this is a $70 game, do not buy, do not pass go. $40, cool. This should not be a $70 game. Mr. D says the same reason I never got into Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood, and now this. I would rather have a slow horror element. Back 4 Blood's another game like that, right? Back 4 Blood, $40 game at max. Lower as it goes. I just didn't like, again, that looked really good. Same with Toxic Commando. Toxic Commando looks great. Had fun playing it. But I was like, I'll hold off until they add some stuff to the game. And down the road when I'm bored, I'll pick it up. All right, chat. It is 12:30. I do appreciate you very much. We'll be back tonight for Generation X Gaming, a weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. That's 8 p.m. right here on 30 NSG. We also will be over on Twitter or X live. If I don't see you tonight, then we will see you on Monday. I do appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out with us. Again, you can support us by hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button, becoming a member for $5. You can go listen to some music over on Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, iTunes, Apple Music. You can check out that over there. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
promise wrapped in neon light. Everyone online said it changed their life. Started up the game and watched it play. Guess I'm just along for the ride again today. Walk real slow through another empty hall. Character keeps talking while I do nothing at all. Hold the stick forward, that's the big design. 10 out of 10 every single time. And I miss those nights, failing 20 times. Now everything survives itself without me trying. Gaming lost its soul somewhere, buried underneath perfect scores and scripted air. I press one button, the game does the rest. Still they call it one of the best. Another 10 out of 10. Guess gameplay's dead again. Used to learn patterns, used to earn the win. Now the checkpoints save me every 10 seconds in. Can't even fail if I wanted to try. Just stare at the screen while the hours